is a Philly fusion. And what we'll do as well, the audio balance might be kind of bad, and you might not be able to hear me talk over it, because we're trying to listen to the casting. So, well, I mean, I'm trying to listen to the casting, so I could review it. Sold Veggie, AC 1226, Fates Lady Tripod. Yo, what's up? Starlord OW. All right. I appreciate your follows, but I probably need to turn it off for the time being, so just so we can get through this. Let's Zoe Sharkcast. Let's Zoe Sharkcast. Yeah, this one was the one I tweeted was my favorite one to cast. Zoe is Sharkcaster, yes or no? She used to be a Sharkcaster. I don't know how much practice she's had casting Overwatch. Let's see if my pen works. Yeah, it works. Very good. So we'll be able to annotate the screen, which is going to be really handy for some of our explanations. Yes, sorry, I know. I like to call out everyone who follows me, so I'll probably have to do it all in one go. So we'll play the intro.
But it was shields up when it was all said and done, as the LA Gladiators pulled off the 3-2 victory over the New York Excelsior. And you know, I said it on Twitter,
Malik, never not looking on fleek.
Again, is New York free to LA teams?
That best fashion sense. Let's skip ahead, as much as I like Malik.
The individual components, like you said, because Philadelphia, he just gets to practice on.
We're skipping ahead a little bit. We'll do map one. We'll do map one, and then we might even jump. Oh, Shadowy misstep with a tier 1 sub. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. You want Malik's jacket? I want Malik's jacket too. I want it too. I know you won't get notifications for the subs, guys. I have it turned off. I can turn it back on. I don't know how to turn it down. Like I can just turn the sound down. Maybe I can I mute it? And I guess it's not a problem, right, if it keeps showing up, but I feel bad if I can't, you know, acknowledge people's. Not very good at sorting that out. I might have to go into Streamlabs and do it. I'll do it later on. Oh! Oh! Alrighty. The biddies! Thanks, Lil Cub. I see them. Am I using Streamlabs? I am using Streamlabs, yeah. And yeah, I need more emotes. I have like really old, out-of-date emotes. One of me looking like McCree. One of me pulling the face, pulling the blue steel. So, yeah, you know what? I'll do it now. Let's just do it now. I'll turn my Streamlabs sound down so we can still show these, because I feel badly if I'm not able to acknowledge follows, or if people can't get them to coming up. Let's just fix this up. Sure, there's a way to do it. It's so complicated though. Ah! Please tell me there's an easier way to do this. You know what? I have to do it later. This is gonna take too long. We need to get down to the. We need to get the juice here. I don't have time for all this. My sub badge is kangaroo. Yeah. Yes, of course, kangaroo. Oh, the biddies. The biddies. Thanks, Akari. Do I speak German by chance? I speak pretty badly German. I speak German pretty badly. Is a pain in the ass. Yeah. All right.
Action. We got the Uber X. Now we are here, fam. Let's go. This is gonna be an absolute cracker of a.
Some people the other day said like it's annoying when I say fam, or like I'm trying to talk like a certain person. I don't really know. Or like no, some guy tweeted me trying to talk like an embarrassing adult who's trying to like get kids to like him or something. I don't know what that's about. Oh, that's subs. Thanks, Jezebel, for the sub. Thank you. Big love for that sub. I'll watch it. I'll at least better call out the subs. Yeah, how's it going, fellow kids? Yeah. I say fam, I say lit. So let's talk. Let's jump in. Someone actually got mad at this as well. I'll address this first. Someone got mad at this for saying that I made a comment saying that it sounded like a One Direction concert out there, which apparently I think was construed to mean that I hated what the crowd screeching and thought it was a bad thing. Bro, it was like a bunch of girls screaming. Like that's what it sounded like, right? And then I think a couple people were unhappy that I called out Tyler by name in the crowd here and was like, "Yo, what's up?" It was like I was being hypocritical because of his gender, but no, sorry, that's not what it is. I wasn't even the One Direction girls. I just thought it was being funny. People took it a certain way, which is fine, but come on! Twitter Omegalol. Yeah, I know. I've got to deal with Twitter though. I have to. I can get away with not going on Reddit, but I have to deal with Twitter.
It's heating up here, but all the Shock fans getting ready, of course, and the Philadelphia Fusion, they don't have many more. In fact, they don't have any games that they can drop. If you watch Watchpoint, you see I've been quite frustrated with this team as of recently. I think Sato and Hopper, we gave them a pass early.
I'm pretty hard on the Philly Fusion
in the season. Now we need to see them really start to rise as a top tank duo because it's been touch and go.
When this team looks good, they look very close to up at the top of the league, right? NYXL obviously at the top, probably going to stay.
Can you guys hear it? By the way,
what we see from them is when they play.
I mean, I don't care about the girls screaming because I don't have to watch the stream. You guys do, so that's fine. I don't really care. I like it was actually kind of a quiet day, that arena anyway. Like the arena was pretty quiet today, so I personally appreciated the extra yelling because it was a bit more hype.
Like at their best,
sounds balanced. I like the current patch.
Not so often. We see them kind of float somewhere in the middle. It depends on the maps.
And I mean, the team's changed fairly drastically now as well. If you think about taking the tank core out and sort of replacing.
Yeah, Wu Guy was in this game. Tyler was in this game.
Downgrade is not actually what's important. It's whether they can continue to win games.
I mean, Fraggy and Poco played every game through stage 1, 2, 3. I know a few games we saw Hotba in, but
so we're just setting storylines here.
Map up stage 4.
We're setting storylines.
They played a Kings Row, they lost it. Remember, we casted that. It was Poco was throwing like grabs, like he had like 1 or 2 eaten. He threw another one that was just kind of off a little bit. We haven't seen that duo since. It's been Sato and Hotba, who have been the tank duo. And it's interesting. You look at this match on the schedule and be like, oh, I know Philly's going to come in here. San Francisco has nothing to play for. San Francisco has a lot to play for. A lot of the young guys on this roster who really want to make a stage playoffs. Like,
they're hungry.
They're hungry to make a stage playoffs.
I'll answer the question about the playoffs after. I'll do like I'll do a proper AMA after this. How about that?
If you look at it,
I will answer your questions.
Their stage playoff.
Yes, it's just the scope of their interests are different, right?
And it would be a great end to a Shock season if you're a Shock fan, and then the players, if you can make a stage playoff.
So we're obviously saying like the Shock are not going to make playoffs here, right? They're not gonna get there. But you know, there is definitely a reason for them to want to win this game, and this game is Le Poggers.
For so long, how much of an impact these young players would make, that you actually see that, that'd be great.
Out of the gates come the Shock. Predominantly white with some orange there. I'm digging this crowd. Let's go.
The crowd was so sick this day. That's why I think this is why it's one of my favorite games, bro. Good crowds are just like so good. Oh man, it takes my car. It actually helps me take the casting to the next level.
Super out on the right hand, and Sinatra obviously will be beginning on the Roadhog. Shield pressure. Now they've got both Orisa and the Reinhardt here.
So this is a weird comp. I don't think this is interesting, but from Philly Fusion, I'm not really sure like why you do it, but you obviously have double main tank here. And I personally think that the point of this is to try and have like a presence on the point. You can see there like that, I think that Sato's on the point, and then you've got the Orisa over here, right? So you actually have like defensive zones, and it also means that you can actually get some value out of the Brigitte here as well. I think that's EQO there. Because Brigitte up on this high ground, I mean, if you try and dive him, that's fine, but most team compositions now just try and approach the point and force, like they just come around this way, and they usually try and force the high ground to dive down on them and engage them. So the Shock now at least have some initial pressure on the point, so they can try and, I assume the Fusion try and keep the Shock at arm's length off the point and try and poke them down. But there's like I don't love the sort of, it's just a single DPS. Like you could have a Junkrat here, but instead they really value having that Brigitte double main tank. It's not like, this is not super flexible, right? Like you don't have a lot of mobility here at all. You don't have a Diva who can sort of be high ground and low ground. Once Hotbug gets knocked off the high ground, then you give that up to the Shock, who obviously has a Hanzo that can sort of take it himself. So anyway, I assume. Yeah, assume.
Here between Sato and Hopper, that's a lot of shields, man.
It's an interesting setup. You usually don't see Orisa plus Reinhardt. Maybe you just have Hoppa up top putting the barriers down for Carpe, and then Sato can protect the players on the ground.
You see what they're doing here, right? They wanted to try and isolate Sinatra, who's producing most of the shield pressure. This is a super aggressive like push from them, right? You can see, I kind of like this because most of the shock are busy trying to rotate through the hotel to the point. Sinatra is not, he could say this out of position, I don't really think so, but they just sort of jump on him. But Super's on the point now. So there still has to be some sort of response.
They catch Sinatra off guard here. They actually take him out. The Super stands at the
So Super's still on the point, though.
They make it a tick.
Holds there just to bring Super and Moth. Put him in a bit of a vulnerable position there as he took a hit. And Babyface trying to work from the side, but there's so much healing for Sato there. Have to be back.
Talk about why Babyface not able to get damage or clean picks here. The casting's not very complicated.
But gets it in the mix.
I like the change here from Sinatra. You bring in Zarya. We've seen his Zarya in the past. He can charge these Gravitons up so fast.
Yeah, but what about your shield pressure? Don't you feel like
I almost feel like you're not even worried about...
So like I'm just asking Matt a question there. Sometimes I ask Matt questions that I know the answer to. Sometimes I just don't know the answer, or I'm curious on his opinion. Sometimes there's not a right or wrong answer. So I'm wondering why, like you switch to Zarya, but then obviously you don't have great shield pressure because Philly Fusion aren't running a Junkrat, so Sinatra doesn't get the easiest of charge. There's a case to be made for saying like, oh, he gets plenty from Hotbar and you know, Carpe and stuff like that. But just asking him a question here before the fight starts, we can throw in maybe the reasoning here. Does not having a Widow hurt the shock in this composition? I don't think so, personally. I think the Hanzo is better on attack on this map because you can do more with it flanking. Like with Hanzo, I find that you can
players up on the high ground.
You can sneak him around the backside. Philly play Hanzo on the attack, and they sneak the Hanzo right up the back and insta scatter shot the enemy Widow. So I don't think it's fine.
At this point, you're just trying to push Sato out of position on the low ground, and they get him really weak.
Jumps down from the ledge, wild scopes in and finds the shot, but Super's got himself two. EQO and Sato are down. Carpe will be sort of accosted by Chocoban here, but the rest of the Fusion are pretty light on the ground, and the Transcendence has been committed to the fight. Babybay connects, scatter shot. Neptuno is down, and the shock, they're on the board.
Yeah,
so see this casting, this is not complicated casting that I'm using. Do I speak German? I can speak German. I sound Dutch. It's not fluent, and I'm a little bit limited in some of my wording, but yeah. Right, so yeah, the casting here is nothing crazy. I'm sort of just very much talking through what's going on.
You don't really care about the Widowmaker up top. They push Sato into the corner. You get a lot of damage from Babybay with a scatter arrow. And then what do? They send Trioban up to the high ground. Once Hotba has to come down as Orisa, right? Then
so see what Matt is doing? He's just recapping the fight. That's actually all he's doing. But he's explaining to you sort of why this happened. I don't speak English, no. So we are just recapping for you because we didn't see all. We were stuck on Carpe's perspective for a while where tons of stuff was happening on the ground. That's going to happen. That's always going to happen.
Carpe doesn't have the shield. You can send the Diva up that just kind of push Carpe out. They do a nice job. Carpe now will play Zarya here for the Philadelphia Fusion. They'll play a triple tank hump with the...
Bro, it sounds like an LA game.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure if you rally then switch, they lose the armor, right? So I guess it's all kind of the same. Does Moobot even work? No, I don't know. Moobot's a bit weird, isn't it? I don't know what's going on there.
Yeah, they'll have a Pharah as well. Interesting that they go Pharah here when you have Babybay go over to McCree's.
I don't think EQO knew that Babybay switched.
I know Babybay is known as a hit scan specialist, so to play a Pharah into this is quite dangerous.
Super got that magnetic upgrade on his armor, Matt. As he came around a corner, it looks like Sato just got pulled into his path. And the reason why the shock were able to play so aggressively...
It's a fairly easy charge to hit. Obviously, it's quite short.
There is Babybay downs, EQO at the start of the fight. Pharah hits the ground. The rest of the Fusion
so
back and
obviously EQO is going to take the Junkrat here.
The Sato is about 30% health after getting hit by a big fire strike, so they press the advantage. This is not a question that we've been waiting to see from the shock. We've always been a bit critical, Matt, about them maybe being more defensive or more uncertain. Now we're starting to see... I bring that up.
I mentioned that here because I think it's really important in casting to identify when like something is out of the ordinary, because someone watching may not really... maybe not really appreciate that if they don't watch like a ton of games. So I think the San Francisco Shock are good on offense, but they've always been like a better defensive team. I just think they've been able to coordinate themselves more effectively. Also, their results reflect that. Every time they played assault maps, like they were able to full hold, but then they would just not get anything done. They especially in stage 1 or whenever Horizon first appeared in the pool, like they got full held attacking like almost every single time in that stage on that map, and I was like, God damn it, it was not good, not good. So I'm just mentioning here that like now you saw that first push, it worked out really well. There's flexibility now with Baby Bay and Sinatra making these switches. Next fight they have a Graviton here, like it's pretty bad for Philly. In that regard, especially with how close the payload is. Like Philly really would rather draw out like an ultimate, like a Graviton, like over here. But if they end up fighting here and there's like a Graviton, you know, you're in trouble. They hope the boombox has trans by that point. That's all I'm saying.
See that ferocity.
And now EQO switches off of Pharah, goes to Junkrat. So you play a Junkrat into a Zarya here.
Right click.
Earth Shatter from Sato, one from Super as well.
I need healing.
That'll be a Graviton Surge laid down by Sinatra just as he falls. It's going to force out the Transcendence from Boombox. Neptuno also using Valkyrie to keep everybody alive. Okay, so a lot of ultimates.
Right. Let's watch that fight again. I mean, most of that fight was cast by Matt as well.
See from the shot,
but which is fine.
Critical Matt about them maybe being more defensive or more uncertain. Now we're starting to see that ferocity.
And now EQO switches off of Pharah, goes to Junkrat. So
Baby Bay jumps in. Earth Shatter from Super.
From Sato, one from Super as well. Doesn't connect with much. That'll be a
Transcendence. Alright, so Boombox got that Transcendence.
It's going to force out the Transcendence from Boombox. Neptuno also using Valkyrie to keep everybody alive.
So it's hard to see how effective Super's Earth Shatter there. Well, I mean, what follow-up damage? Like, you can't beat a Transcendence and you have a Grav, I don't think, without a Dragon Strike. Okay. So the Shock, I mean, the Shock, I can't see what the Earth Shatters did. So it's really hard to tell like what they actually got out of those ults.
After getting hit by a big fire strike, so they press the advantage.
Now EQO switches off.
I really wish this was on YouTube so I could slow it down and like go back 5 seconds or whatever. So let's go through it. So self-destruct is getting thrown in right now. Yeah. Earth Shatter from Super. It looks like it might have hit Hotbar. I actually think the shield was up here from Sato. I think he shielded it. So I don't know who outside of Hotbar got hit by that. So that's 2 ultimates already. We're close to the Graviton from Sinatra here. Sato has an Earth Shatter as well. His Earth Shatter doesn't get anyone either. Maybe Sinatra got shattered? I'm not even sure. Yes, Sinatra got shattered. So there's like one-man shatters from both sides. Sinatra's about to die, so he panic grabs this. And Baby Bay's like not in a position to do anything anyway. He doesn't have Deadeye, so it doesn't really matter. Then we get the Graviton comes out from Sinatra, then Boombox Transcendences. Super is charging. Super almost, well, he hits Sato, so there's no one in that Grav that you can actually kill anyway, because Boombox is using Transcendence. He hits Sato. If he hit Hotbar, it's all the same. Baby Bay comes out now, but there's a Philly Trans in play. The Shock don't have support ultimates in this particular fight. Choi Hyobin is in a good position to sort of maybe deal with whoever's on this high ground, but Sinatra panic grabbed there anyway, so I can slow down using the settings icon. Good to know. Thank you. Thank you. I'm not sure I can. Quality is all I can change. Anyway.
Graviton Surge laid down by Sinatra just as he falls. It's going to force out the Transcendence from Boombox. Neptuno also using Valkyrie.
So you can see how important support ults are. If you guys are subbing, I'm really sorry that I can't call it out because I have my notifications turned off. What's up, Henrizel? Yeah, this is the Overwatch site. I'm not using Twitch VODs. Anyway, so we're talking about the casting here. So like Matt calls the fight. Obviously, you can see that he doesn't have a problem with that, and I let him go because I did the build up to the fight.
To keep everybody alive. Okay. So a lot of ultimates used there, but you'll take that if you're the San
And he'll jump into some analysis here, which is also fine because he's supposed to be doing the analysis anyway.
Francisco shot. Yeah, you see Carpe kind of charged up here.
You see, I chime in there like under him, like yeah. Normally, like I'm not gonna do that unless I'm like. I might have something to say. So that sometimes is a tip to Matt that I sort of want to talk, which is fine. I mean, he talked for a bit, but like it's not too long. It's just like, yo, I'm ready, yo. Hand me the mic back, fam.
Should be able to finish off Baby Bang.
I cut across him here. I'll just say, I mean, it's not terrible. Like we cut across each other all the time. We try to do it in a way that doesn't interrupt each other, but I jump in here.
Not trying to necessarily win the fight with that ultimate there, because Sinatra knows he doesn't have a Hanzo on his side of the map anymore. They're just using the McCree, so their follow-up on Gravitons in general is a lot weaker. So
I'm pointing out what, in my opinion, what was one of the most important parts of the fight. So me and Matt are both analyzing here. We're both sort of discussing. I think myself and Matt, our style is, we make it, outside of me just like casting my face off and doing the overtime bullshit, me and Matt, it's a big conversation. It's one big conversation that we're having. It's back and forth. And both sides are contributing in the same way. Both sides could do play-by-play. Even to a degree, play-by-play is like something we only resort to if it's really important to do that. I think that we are, like we're talking. I turn and face, we look at each other. We turn and face each other a lot of the time when we're talking. Best chemistry when it comes to handoffs and fluidity. Me and Matt cut over each other, but we're like discussing with each other. I think we do. I think Monty and Doa have like the most history and like synergy in terms of knowing each other. But me and Matt, just it might seem like it that we don't because we cut over each other a fair bit. But I think we're just discussing. Like it's just one big discussion. We're both very interested in the minutiae and stuff. So I'm talking now about their lack of follow up and not having a Hanzo, and but Sinatra doesn't really care too much about the grav. I think we are probably, you could look at us like Anderson Semmler casted Counter-Strike, I guess is probably the most accurate way of putting it. Sadicus and Henry G to a degree as well, but we're pretty, me and Matt sort of just do both. It's not too buttoned up. It's, you know, democratic. What's up, Scoundrel, man? How you going? Can you book me in for some beers late August? Yeah, I'm always down for beers. Always down to see your face, mate. We look forward to it. Anyway, so I'm doing some analysis because, believe it or not, I can.
And they know if there's going to be a Transcendence, they can't break through with damage.
So that's my analysis. I'm going to throw it back to Matt now, and he might sort of build us into the next fight. There's support ultimates now. I mean, most importantly, like Philadelphia Fusion, I kind of like this decision to try and hold at the choke because you have like a decent amount of like opportunities, you know, for EQO to get a lot of damage with the Junkrat, you know. The San Francisco Shock don't actually have anyone that currently can inhabit this spot up here unless it's a Widowmaker. I'm sorry, unless it's like a Diva that goes up there. So like San Francisco's composition forces them to try and just force through the choke. I think Philadelphia have a better comp for this kind of scenario. And San Francisco have both support ultimates. So if Philly Fusion force San Francisco support ultimates here just to get past this choke or just to win the fight here, that's pretty worth because then there'll be another fight still, I think, before they manage to get the next checkpoint. So I like this more aggressive approach here. Right.
Have Baby Bang with a Deadeye as Carpe gets closer and closer.
All right, so you give a bit of ground. EQI has a Riptire, but Philly don't want to force her to fight too hard for this, which I can respect. I guess it's just, you know, don't want to be too aggressive, right?
Be a pretty strong combo.
But they're getting a lot of poking. Oh, okay. Well, they're baiting around the corner, so EQA gets a good Riptire. I'm pretty sure this Riptire isn't good, though.
This Riptire could be nasty.
I think they probably...
So I just try... You know, so really quickly, I just chime in there. So what I like about me and Matt is that we can get away with this kind of stuff. Like, it's not... He talks for this long, and then I talk for this long as well. And we make sure we talk the same amount of time. It's just a little thing. Like, this Riptire could be nasty. Why? It's pretty fucking obvious, isn't it? But, you know, we're still having communication. I didn't interrupt him to do this, and then he jumped straight back in after... You don't play-by-play a Riptire, by the way, going into the fight, because unless there's like a big fight with a lot of stuff, if it's just a Riptire, it's like, why should I interrupt the flow of our discussion for a very obvious Riptire that may or may not get lots of kills and just end the fight straight away?
Okay, so they get it. I was going to say they probably wait till that goes off to see what they do in terms of support ults. They're going to use Valkyrie. It'll be the Deadeye.
Oh, it gets EQO somehow, but the double self-destruct in the back from Hotbar. Also getting a D-suit there. That Transcendence now for the Shock.
Bruh. Oh, that's such a bad fight for San Francisco. So, like, Matt leads in, and he knows when something happens. We don't have hand signals, really. No, it's just kind of a natural thing. Natural thing. Oh yeah, but I'm like, it's a two-man like self-destruct, and this is such a big fight win.
Perhaps, yeah, to switch off for the McCree. Back to the Hanzo. Now they have some combo synergy with the Zarya. And, of course, something to deal with that Junkrat McCree, obviously being ground-born much of the time, is a little susceptible to grenades.
Yep. I'm just pointing out as well, just saying like why McCree, why they're switching, right? Instead of just like, they're switching McCree, we talk about the why the shock would do something. But we can look at this replay now.
You take a look at this replay, it's a beautiful
So that self-destruct just wrecks them. Oh, did you see the angle of Super Shield there? I'm pretty sure it was just like the self-destruct is here, right? I'm pretty sure the shield was held at this angle, so that anyone here is still going to get killed by it. That's pretty unfortunate. I think he really tried to put the shield in tight, but they still got affected by it. And obviously Moth can't do anything from that position. Also Super died, sorry. So Super had his shield up, but then it goes down at just the right time. Everything kind of goes wrong. Feels bad. All right.
Oh, I love it.
Self-destruct perfectly placed there by Hotba.
Here we go. Again, the shock. Generally don't waste too much time in pleasantries as they cross no man's land. Like, get now to it.
It's just fluff. I'm just saying that they want to start fighting pretty quickly, but it is a very shock thing. You try and get in each other's faces. No, Matt used to be almost 4K, and now he's right down there with me in Diamond. We were both Masters players, you know, back in the day, back when we were able to play sort of most days. And now we are both like 3K. So I don't know about highest ranked caster. I think me and Matt, out of the shoutcasters, me and Matt are probably generally the highest ranked normally. I don't want Hex to get upset, but Hex chills in plat a lot. I don't know about Semler. Me and Matt normally are the highest. We played together a fair bit. What do we main? Matt plays very good Zarya. Matt plays DPS quite well, like Tracer, Genji. I main... I used to main McCree. I play a hit scan. Play a little Widow McCree. I play Reinhardt. I don't play Zarya. Well, I mean, if you count ZP as being part of the Overwatch League, which I don't think you do here, ZP currently... actually, I don't know. Sometimes I think he was 4K. ZP was 4K at one point, and then I checked his profile and he was way lower. So, Sideshow is usually about 3K, the same with us. Bren's usually about 3K, the same as us. We're all pretty much sitting around that same level. Plat caster for Plat chat? Bruh, Diamond casters. In fact, if I count my peak, Master. So, I am going to cling to my peak for the rest of my days. Johnny, yeah, well, Reinforce doesn't count. Well, Reinforce does count. He's definitely the highest out of all, by far. But he actually is still like a potential pro player. Like, Johnny is still a pro player, in my opinion. Monty's not a jerk. No, not in real life. No. Monty just doesn't really care about people's feelings on Twitter. No, Monty's a great human, in my opinion, to work with and to be around. I'm never going to be Johnny's level. Anyway, Jameson, I mean, yeah, okay, we talk about contenders casters or our casters? I don't know. Monty's not that different off camera. But, like, he's just a reasonable person. I think a lot of people misunderstand him. People just don't get the banter.
In the fight, there's an Earth Shatter from Sato where you know he's looking for something. Oh no, he sends it right to the shield. I thought he'd send it into the backline of the shock. Doesn't quite work out. Nobody.
So I am surprised to see Sato Earth Shatter in that way. James T. Kink, good. I'm good, thank you. Not too bad.
He gets anything with their Earth Shatter.
Yeah, so that Shatter is weird, and now they get grabbed, but Baby Bay is dead. We'll see what there's a Transcendence here, so follow up. Probably won't be great.
Surge that comes down from Sinatra. That'll be...
See Boombox adjust his positioning there to make sure he can actually keep Sato alive, just in case he could have died outside the trans. But they, like, you give up a lot of positioning here. So, like, I don't hate what Super's done here, because he's created a lot of space for his team. Like, Hopper's on his own now, I can get focused down. Super might die here, but, you know, you put the Fusion in a position now where they need to all, like, work through this area, right? And then, like, the entirety of the shock. It's good positioning for the Fusion, for the shock. Sato was going to be very important to get Carpe and Boombox, keep them in a position where they can sort of really do damage. I don't get upset at the observers now, because I'm sure I mess up in my job as well every now and then. It's no big deal. Zoe is... I don't know, I haven't played much with Zoe lately.
Zenyatta ultimate as well, coming out from Boombox. Another self-destruct here. It's going to be Treoman, though.
Yeah, so they need Sato to recontrol.
So now you're going to use Valkyrie here. This is interesting.
If you Valkyrie here, you need to fight. If you Valkyrie here, you're going to fire. I don't know what is provoked Moth to do this, because there's no one really low currently on the shock. So if they back away and he's using Valkyrie, that's probably not a lot of value.
For the shock. It's like
I see a lot of questions in chat, guys. I can answer them after if you keep them in mind. I want to try and get through the VOD for you first.
Fight here, and you're going to try and invest heavy into this.
Right, cats. I mean, you're getting now Boombox is going to even up the numbers here.
So that Valkyrie for Moth got no value.
I think that Super was looking to probably try and charge Boombox out of the grab there and actually give his team a chance to get through the damage. But it's hard to be selective about who you're charging into a grab with a Reinhardt, because everyone's clumped together. It's just the first person you hit normally. Sinatra's back, but Carpe's ready to roll here with a Graviton.
They got to get rid of Carpe, Mitch. He's just doing so...
See, he uses my name there. Like, they got to get rid of Carpe. We're trying to point out the most important stuff. Carpe is obviously a problem. He hits that grav.
So much damage. There's going to be a Riptire into the grav. It'll get rid of...
See, now, you don't want that as EQO. You sent your tire up the wall here, right? Which was where the Rhine was. But you actually wanted to send your tire up the wall here. And then kill all these guys. So that didn't quite work out for EQO, even though he got a kill. He killed Baby Bear already. He's got 2 kills, but he could have seriously wrecked them there.
Super, but Carpe right now with an average energy of 57. They finally deal with him, so he'll lose a lot of that high charge. But compared to that, Sinatra only sitting at 40% average energy. It's interesting too, because
still both high, right?
EQO's been running a Junkrat though the entire time. You figure you'd be able to capitalize on some of that. That's why you usually don't love running a Junkrat into a Zarya, because a lot of that just kind of poke damage and chip damage that Junkrat puts down.
So we're really trying to talk about this from the perspective of like the teams and the way they're choosing their compositions. Like, there are multiple ways to do it. You can sort of be out there and just say like, this is objectively bad, this is objectively good, but we're really trying to put ourselves like in the position of these individuals and like the team. Like, what does it feel like to play against this stuff? Like, what does it feel like to, you know, what do you need to switch? Like, how are you dealing with this? How are you, if you are the teams and the players, like, what's your thought process? And we're kind of limited in that to some degree. We try and talk to the players often. We watch them stream. We try and watch their scrims. And obviously, we're not Overwatch League players ourselves. But to a fair degree, like, we're really trying to put the audience into their perspective and sort of maybe understand why. Not just what's happening, because I think commentary is like, you know, if you just say like what's going on, that's fine. But we are trying to educate to a degree as well, without condescending to people that might already know the answer.
Gets turned into damage on the other side.
Initially, obviously, he wasn't playing that Junkrat, though. He spent some time on Brigitte, he spent some time on Farah. Now, your Dragon Strike Graviton combo is ready to be served up by the San Francisco Shock, and Sinatra sneaking around it, but that was so risky. Hotbar was right there when the Dragon comes through and it gets the job done. Hotbar falls, Beck and all. Baby Bay will be charged up against the wall, but Sato here, Sleepy just wants to get in his face. He wants to get down and dirty. And that's the answer for the Shock to find the Wombo combo.
Yeah, and Sato actually hits a pretty big Earthshatter. He connects with 3, but at that time everybody else is already dead there. For the Philadelphia Fusion, a good point B defense. It'll be completed though by the San Francisco Shock.
So that's obviously a good defense from Philly. I think they played that really well. Yeah, and you had the Graviton combo, right? That was risky though, and I wanted to point that out. Like, I don't want to be too presumptuous, and I don't want to like say things that I might not know about. But I'm telling you. Let me see if I can find it. I'm telling you, this is risky as. So your boy's going around the corner.
Graviton combo is ready to be served up by the San Francisco Shock, and Sinatra sneaking around it, but that was so risky.
Yeah, there's a diva there.
When the Dragon comes through and it gets the job done. Hotbar falls, Beck and all. Baby Bay will be charged up against the wall, but Sato here, Sleepy just wants to get in his face. He wants to get down and dirty. And that's the answer for the Shock to find the Wombo combo.
Yeah, and
pretty simple fight, right? Doesn't need to be like, there's no crazy commentary to be had there. I think one thing that me and Matt have really tried to work on is not compromising the value of our discussion just for yelling about a fight. You know, like, we're much better just to like stick to what we're discussing and not derail ourselves, because it's hard to listen to. You really want to try and make sure that you stick to the substance of your discussion.
He connects with 3, but at that time everybody else is already dead there. For the Philadelphia Fusion, a good point B defense. It'll be completed though by the San Francisco Shock as we go into this final stages of the map. And I know, look, it's so difficult to defend that grab dragon combo. There's really nothing Philadelphia could do
it's pretty impossible to defend that grab dragon combo. If you Transcendence, then you can survive it, but not if an enemy Reinhardt is hitting you inside the grab.
Play so split, so apart from each other,
which doesn't make sense quite often because you can't.
And like, what I'm saying, like we're talking about like how to avoid getting grabbed, right? To split up. You have a fucking Reinhardt on your team. There's no value in splitting up away from a Graviton. You have to get behind the shield to get any value out of Reinhardt anyway. Like compositions that have like flankers like Tracer and Genji, you just don't see Reinhardt with them. And if you're fucking playing them with Reinhardt in ranked, one of you motherfuckers has to switch. So, you know, we're just sort of saying that it's an extended discussion about how difficult it is for Philadelphia to do anything in that situation. So a discussion of like, you know, what they could do. I can't remember if there are any Rap God moments in this game. Were there any? There are Rap God moments in this game. And I will jump to a map that features some of them for our second map. Yes, I'll be skipping to Lijiang Tower.
Can't benefit from a Reinhardt.
Just for you.
All the Shock have to do is walk up to the payload and force them to group.
That's right. If Mercy damage boosts the Hanzo, then you are going to get wrecked, even if you have trans.
Sinatra sent that grab right towards the back of Hotbar. Now, if he'd 180 to nade that would have been egg on his face for sure. So
I'm just pointing out again, explaining why I said Sinatra's play with the grab was risky.
But it wasn't, so we digress.
Look, hey, that's why you like, they're the young guys on the Shock. You don't want to say they're cocky, they're pretty confident, right? They just want to go out there and make some plays. Is that, it'll be trailing. It's a nice tire from Ikyo, just trying to waste some time here.
Right, you take that for your Sinatra. Yeah. Working down that Riptide. Now, it does buy a couple of seconds for the Fusion, but they really would have wanted.
So I want to discuss the purpose of that Riptide there. Instead of the what, maybe a bit of the why. These are two of your favorite teams, right? These are two of my favorite teams, Calder. You're exactly right.
Some damage there. That's the real pressure valve, is getting a couple kills to that ultimate. Super has an Earth Shatter kill.
So, like, why did he Riptide there is what I mean. You know, like, there's a reason for it. And what does that achieve? Well, by some time. Is it enough time? Well, that's debatable. Yeah. Obviously, you want to get kills with that Riptide. Like, you're not just doing it to zone. It's not a zoning ult, haha. Like, you do want to get kills. But if you don't, then we still need to examine the purpose of it.
Now, you can see the Fusion are playing split to the left-hand side and the middle purposely. His EQO is trying to play in a position just to bounce grenades off the walls and the payload. But Hopper gets desuited already. There's the grab coming in, though. Transcendence.
Now, I could have passed that off to Matt. You heard it, like, sort of ended the sentence. Like, Hopper gets desuited already. But I see the grab come in, and I'm like, it's getting awfully close to overtime, ladies and gentlemen. You know what happens in overtime, don't you?
Immediate response. Now, where's the burst damage? There's not really any, but Super lays down the Earth Shatter. And the Transcendence here by the Fusion doesn't really get them too much at all. They bring EQO back up here, but Super wants a piece of him. He'll have him now with Chokobin, and Baby Bay's in position with that Dragon Strike to really make it hard to get out of spawn.
There you go. So that's fine. I didn't go crazy. You know, it's the first map, and there's no team wins as a result of that play. But you know, just trying to get that excitement up a little bit more. The crowd obviously helping with that a great deal. So yeah, we're enjoying it. Thank you to the 5 new subs so far today. That's incredible. I appreciate it. I know I have notifications turned off. I need to fix Streamlabs so we don't get a sound. For those, yeah, so do forgive me. The subs are Jezebel, Hen Rizzle, Shadowy Misstep, Maid, and the Shiny Celebi. Thank you guys. I do see you out there. I appreciate it. And everyone for following, I appreciate that as well.
Once that grab came down from Carpe, where was the follow-up? They couldn't follow up because Sinatra lays down a grab of his own. They're able to follow that up with some damage.
So that happens awfully fast, right? So we're trying to break down exactly what happened. You know, we're trying to recapture a little bit of the action.
You know, Sinatra and Carpe both play a very strong Zarya. I can't remember the...
They're paid audience.
Zarya,
I have not.
Honestly,
your memory's better than mine, and I have not.
Carpe can pretty much select anything, and I would believe he plays it at a high level as... you know, both players, you know, finishing with you know, very good Zarya ult charge time, a good amount of Graviton surge kills, very even across the map.
Thanks, Vicious Sile. Yo, thanks for the biddies, Jive Ammunition. My man. I see you.
Oh, Sato knocked off the edge. That really hurt them there.
See, I'm whispering for dramatic effect there. I'm having fun. I'm feeling it today in this broadcast, right? I'm getting a little bit theatrical, but still trying to make sure that we are really having a good discussion. I think this is just one thing why I'm so happy about casting with Matt in general is like he's just really easy guy to talk to. So like our casting is an extension of our everyday discussions. That is all it is. And then when you add on top me getting excited and us doing stupid shit, it's an extension of our friendship onto the screen. It's a good friendship and it's a good product, right? I think that we could be the best in the business, man. Like he's super good at what he does. I work my ass off. I really think that, you know, we can keep taking this to new heights. And you know, this season was a good example of that. Pesto, I see you with the bits. Thanks, fam. Many thanks and much love. I appreciate it. Yeah.
Sato didn't have an Earth Shatter, but he definitely could have charged it up, hitting into that Graviton. With the Transcendence in play, it's unlikely that anyone from the shock would have really died from that one because there wasn't a Dragon Strike to back it up. But still, that would have been a Shatter for Sato to answer supers.
Very interesting there. Didn't catch that. So it's great about having replays, right? Some things like that in the game happen so quick.
Yeah, like that's important. Sato getting knocked off there, which we didn't see because he was around the corner, affects that fight greatly because, as I said, that Shatter, well, could have changed things. It could have stopped the shock. Who knows?
Not able to see it. Interesting comp from Philly on their first point defense. Double main tank.
Double shield tank. It's like you have a high ground shield tank and a low ground one. So like you can play both high and low ground and still have.
But what usage do you get out of the Orisa outside of having a barrier for the sniper up top?
I think you should have Zen.
See, like he's literally asking a question. Like we are actually like having. It might be rhetorical to a degree, but like we're just having some back and forth. It's so sick.
Up there as well.
Yeah.
I think your Zen's, because your Zen's much safer playing on that ledge than on the low ground with the Reinhardt. Whereas with the Reinhardt, I guess you might have the Merc.
This is two guys that love the game and think about it all the time. And this is the product of us. We're always talking about Overwatch. We're always talking about what we're doing, you know what I mean?
So you might have
but at that point, wouldn't you rather just have a diva to sit down on the point and contest?
I think you're trying to prevent an attacking team from just pushing you onto the point and forcing you down. Because you're kind of already on the low ground. I'm
glad Baby Bay's back at the starting lineup.
But you do
He's my boy.
Anyway because you're
even though, story about Baby Bay, by the way. He saw my ring. This one here, right? And I told him why I have it. I told him it's a lion, you know, because I want to be courageous and I've made some hard decisions in life and all that sort of stuff. Motherfucker goes and gets one, which is fine. I got no problem with that. I'm flattered. And I know it resonated with him too. And he gave the exact same reason for having the ring. So we're both just big lions, you know, out here trying to get it. He said his lion ring has a jewel in its mouth, so I'm kind of jelly. But I got the opal, bro. I got that fucking opal, the other ring. So the handling game, your boy's still getting it.
Well, Reinhardt just doesn't.
But we're like the same guy. Like, we wear mad rings. We both love a lift. You know, we both say you get it too much.
Have enough like self-sustain with the Brigitte there.
I think you have the Mercy as well. I think the idea is just to have a presence at least on the low ground at all. I'm not saying.
So you say like I'm saying a lot. I'm saying I think. I'm saying I think in a lot of this stuff. So this is it's opinion and it's like us doing some theory crafting. So you know, don't take it for gospel. And it's a discussion. You know, we're kind of welcoming. We're trying to invite the viewers into a journey with us while to be part of our discussion. You know, to be part of what this is.
Oh, I know. I think with how many pick compositions you see on offense, putting your Mercy in that type of position down on the ground.
Baby Bay is definitely more attractive than I am, but I appreciate being compared to him.
The shock is just go through the left side of the hotel, just go for a pick. Really interesting at the beginning here. So you do see EQO now play Hanzo, but it was a positioning from Baby Bay. He actually wasn't behind the shield at top. He actually went to the side of the hotel, tried to get a cheeky pick from the side. Interesting position taken here by the Fusion. They're trying to just muscle their way up the staircase.
So that's good, right? They said the Matt's saying that this is what they're doing. This is the setup. He's going to let me now talk a bit about it.
I thought in Philly people preferred to take it outside than inside.
There's my first shit joke of the night. it was bound to happen. What does that even mean? I think I'm referring to the scrappy and the vociferous nature of Philadelphia sports fans. You know, so.
For whatever reason,
Oh, that was a good one.
the Fusion takes bro. They're set up on the high ground here, and they at least want to try and control this little quadrant. Carpe sees the Riptide coming, realized he didn't have a shield available, so all he could do was run. That's a clear indicator to Sinatra that Carpe didn't have his own barrier.
Sinatra gets that tire in 42 seconds because they're all the tanks clumped up inside of that small hallway.
Matt got that information from our stats screen. It has like an average time to charge ult, and because the half's just started, I think, because Sinatra's just started playing Junkrat, we know that that average number is actually the time it takes for him to get one ult. And he can also count down as well. So.
Ideal spot for Junkrat to spam.
Well, that's why it's so curious that they want to play through that. I guess they're trying to just take that ledge away, but then you still need to play through some tunnels and chokes, right?
Yeah.
Curious.
See, like, you notice that we're not reacting to kills like that. I think this is something that we do that not a lot of casters actually do themselves. Like, yeah, Baby we got a snipe, right? But is it worth going, oh, and he gets the snipe? Not when we're already having a discussion about what's going on here. Like, we're trying to educate and we're trying to sort of theory craft, right? So this is, I think, a trap that a lot of casters fall into. Like, just because the kill happens doesn't mean that you need to mention it. Pesto, I do. I actually have Captain Planet in my ear during the broadcast to correct me or to give me some stats. It's really good. Yeah, but like a lot of, I used to do this all the time. I used to, like, if that happened, I would have, Mitch of 3 years ago would have interrupted Matt and, you know, yelled about a fucking sniper kill. It takes a long time to really, like, figure out what's worth talking about and what's not. If everything's hype, nothing is hype. It took me a long time to learn this lesson, by the way. It took me a long fucking time to learn this lesson. Yeah, so me and Matt sometimes do derail. Sometimes for a good reason. Yeah, exactly. It's going to be Res by Mercy, right? Who gives a shit? But if you're not, in my opinion, if you're not an experienced caster and you're not really, like, dialed into the flow of the game and you don't have an understanding of how the game will work, then, like, you will call that out, I think. Synergistic edutainment indeed.
Well, that didn't work, suffice to say.
So this is what Philly could have done with a D.Va on defense, right? Shoyobin just sitting around the corner, he can just play.
Yeah, see, Matt's pointing out the difference in the defensive comps, which I love. It's like a callback to what we saw in the first round. The Shock are playing with a D.Va and an Orisa, not a Reinhardt and an Orisa, right? So hopefully we're going to discuss now the flexibility that having a D.Va there gives you. You can still have a presence on the point, but you don't put a Reinhardt there, and that means a D.Va can actually get involved in what's going on the high ground. I'll see if I get a good way to frame this for you.
Harmony from Sleepy, they can both kind of just...
Right, I think this is good. So obviously, Choi Hyobin is relatively vulnerable. You can't really fight Sado at the moment, and if he was a Reinhardt, then he could sort of just stand and deal with it. Obviously, EQO can hit Choi Hyobin here, but Choi Hyobin has a lot of flexibility in this position, right? He can go back up this way. Right now, he's in a bit of danger. He's a bit low. Does Moth want to actually try and heal him and risk being picked off by someone like EQO crossing? I'm not sure, but this is the difference in the setup. So this is something that Matt's talking about now. One thing that I've really been enjoying is looking at the differences, or identifying trends or identifying things that go against the trend and talking about why. Because otherwise, with so many games, you have so many like Reinhardt, Zarya comps, it's like all the same. Like you really want to, when things are different, you really want to identify them quickly, and you really want to nail that home. And I think that's the kind of thing that will appeal to your regular, more dialed in viewers more so than your casual viewers. And we want to cater to the diehards as well.
Keep an eye on the point, then he can just fly right back up and get some more healing when necessary, as it'll be Neptuno using Valkyrie, same from Moth here. Maybe Philly just trying to force some ult down.
Doing the good man's work there, trying to...
All right, so I didn't want to say good Lord's work. I think that's what as a figure of speech, but obviously, I don't want to make any reference to any sort of religion or anything like that, so good man's work. Philly, pretty straightforward, right? They push the point. They get aggressive. They get rid of Choi Hyobin. They force Super now to drop down on the Orisa, and he's going to have to put up a barrier here. Now the Shock are in deep shit because they got the Mercy out here. They got the Zent here. Someone is getting their face belted in here. So that's bad for them, right? This is what you want to do by forcing the low ground.
Break that shield down. Hotbar good positioning on the point, but they're a little bit split. Carpe and Sato are quite far forward. EQO though picks the tire out of the sky instantly. And look at this good position they've got here. Now EQO doesn't even have to flank. He actually lets his tanks go forward for him. And then just wreck them. Boombox gets his double. Matt, we talked about...
the reason why I mentioned that EQA doesn't have to flank is because quite often Hanzos go around the corner and up, and they attack the Widowmaker inside that little arch up the top of the map, but the Shock didn't have a chance to set up it that way, and Sato just barreled forward here. That is a terrible arrow. So they just took a lot of ground away. We've seen Philly in the past actually use Carpe as their Hanzo, and he will do this flank. He will go this flanking route. He's one of the more common perpetrators of this kind of play.
Boombox this week, you know, saying that his stats aren't good or aren't bad. They're kind of middle of the road, but the Philly Fusion need him to really be in that top percentile of Zenyatta's. So
I take this opportunity now to highlight Boombox as a player. We actually talked about him on Watchpoint that very same week about his stats were average. They weren't good or weren't bad, but we sort of pointed out that like there are so many top level Zens in the league, and that, you know, he definitely has to rise to that level, in my opinion, for Philly to be like a stage-winning team, especially when you're fighting against people like New York. So Boombox had a good play there, so we wanted to acknowledge that, and also, you know, take a quick moment to do a player focus or a spotlight, and maybe we go back to the more human element of the Overwatch League, and, you know, we switch away from this high-level discussion about strats, and then we jump in and sort of talk a little bit about the person, the people behind the keyboards. Boombox is actually fine. His stats are fine. I think his damage per 10 is like average. I think it's average. His Soldier 76 stats are exceptionally good though. And in this map, in this series, you'll get to see some of his Soldier 76, and I was very impressed by it.
To help them get across the line here in the overall playoff situation.
He is, when you look at stats for Zenyatta, he is at the league average.
Okay, he's at
like
average.
He's pretty much like a little bit below or a little bit above in some categories.
But that's what makes you a top 8 player. You want to be a top 4 Zen, of course, if you really want to be contender here.
Well, I mean, there's probably been a few other players that have played Zen on occasion, so he's probably more like in the top half of like the top 24 or so players.
So what we're doing now is just trying to make sure that like we make ourselves clear about this, and we don't use the stats to make this player look worse than they are, right? And Matt's like, well, you know, bear in mind there's multiple players with Zen stats up there, and, you know, we want to try and make sure that all the caveats are covered. You know what I mean?
Players that have played in Overwatch League thus far.
I mean, Fraggy and Poco made more room jive ammunition, but Fraggy also died a lot. That's the thing. Like he was more of a suicide tank, in my opinion. I don't think we're talking about it too much. I mean, like, what else is happening? There's nothing happening here. The fusion got forced back. So while we're on the topic, I don't feel like we had to jump away from this one. There was nothing that happened that warranted us. This is just positioning and setup, right? No one's doing any kills right now, so we're still, you know, the discussion is fine.
It sounded nice when I said it.
Yeah, I tried to make it sound cool.
Here's the Graviton surge. Dragon's tried to cut through. It was only Super that was actually caught in that one. The Shock did a good job of splitting quite well.
Could have been much worse.
I'll lose one tank. Happy with that. 2 ultimates for a Reinhardt. Yeah, we take those. Baby Bay, those gone down to Carpe, who's quite aggressively just up behind Sato. And Sato has an Earth Shatter, so he'll just be more than happy for the Shock to attempt to push out.
Now it got worse.
Now we're not in great territory.
Now it definitely got worse. So you lost your...
I disagree with you, Saber. I think we were sort of fine. I think you could talk about 6 ults in that part of the fight. The thing is that they're not going to use 6 ults straight away. I don't know anything about the iRemix performance one. People talk about... I'll address this. People talk about things that are needlessly harsh and unfair. That's subjective. I'm a little tired of people really, we see this a lot in Overwatch League, people like, that's not fair, or that's not nice, or stop trying to appeal to our morality as pundits and esports analysts. The thing is, we can't care about the fans' feelings. It's not that we don't, although to a degree it is that we don't, but we also can't. You know, I see so many people that really try to appeal to the morality of it and to how people's feelings of it. A lot of the time, I'm like, sorry, the analysis doesn't have any room for morality, and if it does, it's going to be a shit show and people are going to be pandering to the crowd. And it already happens enough in the Overwatch League as it is. People, I won't say their names, pander to the fucking crowd all the time. And it drives me up the wall. Facts don't care about your feelings. I'm quoting someone that I actually don't agree with a lot of the time. A certain figure in politics who says this. I don't agree with a lot of what he says, but facts don't give a shit. I don't care if you're upset that your favorite player or a player of your team isn't made to look good. Deal with it. Sit down and watch the show. If you don't like hearing it, that's totally fine. But we are here to present things as they are. And you might think that some things are a little bit harsh, which is true, but it's also subjective as well. People love the players more than the game. A lot of Overwatch fans do. People are very attached to these players. And I think that's okay, because I think that we're marketing these players well. And I think these players are marketing themselves well. But I don't have any room to care about how much you love your players. I'm here for the game. I'm here for high-level Overwatch. And if I see anything that's not high-level Overwatch, I'm not going to fucking sugarcoat it. I think fans get to be very close to their players in this league, but that doesn't mean that, I'm going to jerk off players who I don't think are very good. We just had that conversation about Boombox. We delivered the information like his stats are average. They're on the average. They're not good, they're not bad, they're average. We're presenting this information. And then we do sort of try and qualify that and make sure everyone understands, but I really care about doing a good job as a caster and making sure that I am accurate. And I think sometimes that this analysis is accurate. Sometimes it's not. And then that's a problem, and that's something we need to address. I appreciate my fans personally, and I appreciate all fans of the Overwatch League, but I don't care about people on the internet's feelings. I care about trying to be accurate as much as possible. Sometimes I do it, sometimes I don't. Now clip that out of context and put it on Reddit.
Then it'll get Res right back up though, so maybe you can make a fight out of this. But
I should mention, I don't even know I don't remember the iRemix situation. I'm speaking to the issue generally. I don't know whether it was actually unfair or not. So I can't comment on that. I'm not sure. Yeah.
To a grab, you're not close to a dragon right now. It'll be Neptuno with a Valkyrie. Sato's just trying to line up this.
Oh, straight to a barrier, Sutton. Can't be happy about that one. And now the self-destruct at the backside finding EQO, the Transcendence there. I mean, the shock, in all fairness, a couple of ultimates used by them there. Sato's back, but that resurrect is very low value as he is brought back up in the midst of the enemy troops.
Well, Sato pushes so far up to try and get this shatter. He's so focused on the shatter that Xiaoben just launches his self-destruct over the top. There's nothing to protect anybody else back by the cart. So now you've given an opportunity to get the grab dragon for the San Francisco Shock.
Matt,
they have nothing to defend it either.
Sato has 0.25 people stunned per shatter on this map.
Now, that's a stat that I didn't present that with a lot of context, so hopefully we do go there. I think Sleepy Shatters have also not been overly effective as well, but I do want to point out, I do want to point out that that's not a lot, right? These Shatters are tough, but look, there are Reinhardts and there is Ayas giving shields, so theoretically, it's pretty hard to hit fatty Shatties on this map.
Okay, I mean, Super is not much better, but still. I feel like Reinhardt as a hero with the ultimate, like you just, how many players do we see go to these big ones? This will be a big combo now put together. As the dragon goes through, the kill already happens before the dragon passes on through the grab, but the pickup kills will come out of this. Is Philly going to be forced back? But how many?
So big.
How
they
many
spawned so far away.
How many large shatters did we used to see, and now like we hardly see like any anymore?
So like this, it's a question. Like I could answer that. It's rhetorical, but it's part of our discussion here. Just saying like, wow, this is what we expect to see, or is this something we don't expect to see? Is this out of the ordinary, or is this very standard?
Right. I feel like it's a lot of Reinhardt trying to line up these big shatters.
It's also Zarya. Zarya can protect two people, theoretically, herself and someone else from a shatter. So this is how you set this one up. Sinatra this time doesn't fire a long-range graviton into a Diva mech, which is, I like this. Now, but this is also why he doesn't get as much value for it either, because he drops that very short. Maybe he got a glimpse of Hotbar in the distance and thought he didn't want to chance it.
So see what I did there? Maybe he I said maybe. I'm not saying it's sure. I'm saying, oh, maybe he saw a couple plays here and didn't want to take the risk of having his grav eaten. So while I'm saying, okay, he doesn't get many people with this grav, let's think about like why he did this. Like what provoked him to do that? Could be wrong. And I just have to accept that that's possible. But some context there, in my experience, having cast obviously a lot of Overwatch, and not being a top 500 player, but I've watched more hours of Overwatch than many people have played, I suppose, or casted, if that makes sense. So trying to leverage some of my experience there to add context. And that is 100% me adding something that I think could have happened. But I still think it's more valuable than saying, oh, well, that wasn't a very good grav, was it? Well, okay. Doesn't really enhance the experience much, in my opinion.
Yeah, as soon as he sees Hotbar towards like that back right-hand side of the screen, he just looks directly to his left and like hits the wall because you can't like hit it with the defense matrix, it hits the wall right away, so.
Fair enough. Now the Philly Fusion have the wombo combo map. And Carpe
So okay, we point out that the ultimate's at the start of the fight.
would like to drop it in on top, I'm quite sure. And looking for a chance. He sees a Mercy sort of out of position. Wow, Baby Bay, okay. Another Dragon Strike.
Forces out Transcendence.
You see my tone of voice there indicates that I'm surprised to see that, right? Okay, a Dragon Strike, it's interesting. Because obviously Sinatra doesn't have grav, so I'm not sure why. But this does force a Transcendence here, at least from Boombox, which is good because Sleepy has trans. I mean, if you're using a Dragon Strike just to force trans, you have my seal of approval. I agree with that. In the majority of cases, especially when Baby Bay is going to probably have his next ult by the time Sinatra has his grav, right? Based on the relative charge times of those ultimates, and maybe Baby Bay's feeling like he's going to be able to do enough damage because of the presence of these tanks and the fact that he has Scatter Arrow and all that sort of stuff.
So, yeah, you're really happy with that one. Now the grabs. Oh dear.
Oh no,
your boy Choi just ate that one up. Thanks for the nutrition, fam. He's getting his gains. Yeah.
So hard to see. Obviously, casters get fucking slaughtered if we ever... I peaked Masters, yes. I was 3.7k at peak. Now I don't have enough time to play the game, and sometimes, honestly, I'll be straight with you guys. Sometimes I get home from work, watching this great Overwatch, and then going and playing my diamond games just doesn't seem that appealing. Playing with absolute mooks, trying to get myself out of diamond, doesn't really appeal to me very much. You know what I do? I go play Magic the Gathering, or I go and do something. I go and lift. I go and get me some gains or something like that, you know. I don't play much Overwatch right now, and I'll admit that. I do play a bit, but bro, it's taxing for me, and have been working to try and prevent burnout over the later stage of the season because, you know, it's a pretty intense job. Crumbs isn't Master anymore, bro. Crumbs lost 700 SR. But yes. So I peaked Master. I'm forever going to call myself a Masters player. You're welcome to disagree with me on that. I'm not playing with Sideshow anymore. Thanks for the biddies, Destructorator. Yeah, we all know that feel, bro. I'm pretty sure I'm preaching to the choir.
Yeah, as soon as he sees Hotbar towards like that back right-hand side of the screen, he just looks directly to his left and like hits the wall because you can't like hit...
Yes, stage break should be longer. I think there will be too. I think there will be. They know. So let's see where this grab goes wrong.
Would like to drop it in on top, I'm quite sure. And looking for a chance. He sees a Mercy sort of out of position. Wow, Baby Bay, okay. Another Dragon Strike.
Where is Carpe? Okay, I see Carpe. Carpe's here. Keep an eye on Carpe.
Forces out Transcendence, though.
Yeah,
oh, no! He ate it from up here, dude! So, I obviously... You can't see that, right? So I had to rely on the sound from, like, her using the ult. My brain goes... Okay, I just heard Zaya use ult. Where's the fucking ult? Oh, I can't see it. Oh, I got eaten. It has got eaten. It can't be anything. So I had to use. I have to use a process of elimination here to figure out what happened. How could people who are so privileged be depressed? It's ridiculous. I'm not sure what that means. I'm not sure what you're getting at. I'm not depressed. I don't know. Anyway.
Oh dear. Oh no, your boy Choi.
Tears from an island in southern Brazil. What's up, Gimli Sim? Sorry. Am I worried about new Hanzo? Yeah, a little bit. He gets ults too fast. It's going to be Grab Dragon Strike. I am personally worried about Grab Strike. Oh, okay. He's talking about player burnout. Okay, I'm not gonna have that conversation with him. I've already been. I've already seen enough of that conversation. What's up, Maliok? The stream's going good, bro. I have lots of viewers for my standard, and we're talking about Overwatch casting, so that's pretty fun.
Just ate that one up. Thanks for the nutrition, fam. He's getting his gains.
Get his gains.
Forced inside the hotel.
And the difficult part about that is that you really just want the dragon for the grab, is that now the dragon really does nothing, right? So you kind of, with that one grab wasted, you kind of waste both ultimates. Now with all...
So I love that as a point Matt points out. He's like, well, your grab just got eaten, so your dragon don't do shit.
Only a minute to go. You have Shatter, grab, and you're going to have another dragon here for the shot. They use the grab early.
Oh, the shield there again from Super now.
Oh my god, these fucking shatters. These shatters, dude. These fucking shatters. Love it. Love to see it. All right.
Now it comes back in with both Earth Shatters. In fact, only one person's done between two Earth Shatters there. But Carpe's able to pick up the rest. The cleanup is good, and EQO's there with 2. And the Philadelphia Fusion will eventually break through. Again, it was messy, to say the very least, but the Earth Shatters.
So yeah, I'm trying to just summarize the previous fight there. A bit of play-by-play, pretty standard.
Coming up clutch.
Oh, wow, thanks for the sub, Maliok, man. I appreciate that, man. That's big. Much love.
And the shock, the graviton, yeah.
And they don't try and combo the grab with the dragon. There, they decide not to. So, now you're going to have...
that. I mean, you can force positioning really well. Now you're playing, again, sort of in quite a choke scenario, so you can still get value from the dragon.
Yeah, we're just like, obviously, Dragon Strike without... we're talking about the Dragon Strike minus grabs thing, right? Baby Bay just used his. So we see if I'm right and there's actually any value to be gotten out of that ultimate.
It'll be Baby Bay using the dragon, split some players off. Sato gets really weak.
No, did he fucking kill Sato with that? And Carpe's gonna die. So, you know, without a grab, that dragon got something. Because you have to play, I mean, you get... oh, what's up, Matty? You get a lot of value. If your Dragon Strike comes through here, right? Like, you obviously have to, like, you have to go this way. So, like, there's a good chance that there's value to be had here. And where do you split away from, like, the Dragon Strike? You can't go in here. You're not going to go down there. You could maybe go that way towards the bottom of the screen. But it's pretty hard to avoid that. You know, you could try, these guys are obviously safe, but, you know, I don't mind that one. Yeah. This game has already happened, Matt. You are right.
End up dying to the dragon.
Yeah, that's really nicely done. Carpe also fall into Sinatra. A lot of the damage coming from Hanzo as well. It also forced Boombox away from the rest of his team. Now, you technically still have line of sight if there's a dragon in front of you as Zenyatta, but it's quite hard to see who to E or shift.
And Moth will use...
That's a very minor thing, and that's kind of potentially contentious as well. Can we agree that Space and Mecha are the 2 best flex tanks? I agree with that. I definitely agree with that. Or Matt lives downstairs, so if he wants to come up and help me with the VOD review, he can, but I guarantee you he won't, because he never leaves his house unless he has to.
Valkyrie out of this as well, just trying to...
Or unless he's walking Hugo.
Enjoy you over the line. As the Shaco get aggressive. I think...
Bishu's in the conversation for Diva, but I think Bishu's value is more stuff you can't see. It's not... I mean, he's very, very good. Oh, well, Seagull's also great as well. Yeah, he's definitely up there, but... Bishu's value with translating, I think, is huge. It's huge. Oh, look at these Mr. X subs in my chat. Oh, Mr. X is definitely a hermit, man. Yeah, he's a homebody. 100%.
This is the right play from San Francisco. If you can force Carpe and EQO to use this combo a little bit earlier.
Fury...
that would be a pretty big win. Maybe...
no, I don't think Gegery's in the conversation, Captain Talon. Her stats rankings aren't very good. And, like, you could say that, like, if your team doesn't win... a match, then your stats are going to look pretty bad. But her stats look like not good. Like, she's like 12th in final blows, 14th in deaths. Like, it's not good. I really encourage people to try and be objective about Gegery and her stats because they're not good. I think that she has these moments where she clearly, as far as the eye tells you, does excellent work. But I think a lot of times she also struggles. So I think Gegery's a good player. So I think she's definitely Overwatch League worthy, but her stats are not a great look. They're not. They're below average. Yeah, and okay. So this argument sucks. Like, she can't have good stats with a bad team, but you can't then tell me she's a good player. You can't tell me she's like a top diva. You can't say that. You don't have a leg to stand on. Her stats are bad, and yes, her team is bad. I mean, like, and this is just projection. You can't say that she's good, but her main tank's bad, or her because her stats aren't good. And you can't show me evidence that outside of the eye test that it's just because of an overly aggressive main tank. I think it contributes to it. I think the overly aggressive main tank part contributes to why Shanghai aren't winning. I'm just like, you can't. There's no case to make to say that Giga is a top diva. I'm sorry. I think she's a great personality, and she definitely deserves to be in the Overwatch League. And I hope that she comes back. I hope we see more of her. But you can't. There's no argument to be made there. I think it is, and this is my honest opinion. I think people really want her to be the best flex tank in the Overwatch League. I think people want that, and I can see why they would want that. But she's not. She's not. Why? I'm not saying she's terrible, and I'm saying her stats are terrible, and her stats do not put her in the conversation to be a top diva. So the stats, like, you can't say she's terrible, but you definitely can't say she's up there. Like, there is literally no evidence for this, except for, in my opinion, her being very good cleanup player, a very effective playmaker, but not more than like a lot of spots. You guys need to try and look at Geggery objectively, all right? Because I think there are a lot of reasons why people don't, and it's really important. It's really important that you try and focus on the game and the numbers. Okay, she's a very popular player, the kind of person that gets a lot of interaction on very like random tweets that she makes. Okay, she's loved by many, but don't do this. Don't be blinded by that. Please try and stay objective.
Then you're going to have your own combo.
You feel bad if you trans into their grab Dragon Strike and you still lose the fight because Sato's going to be in there. Let's see how this works out. So Super's caught in there. Okay, the Dragon Strike, not committed. Oh, Babybay's lucky to be alive there. The Transcendent's actually really helping. No kills from the combo. No, I take it back. Hotpa finds two in the back. Sleepy and Babybay are down, but the Hanzo is brought back immediately. Super has an Earth Shatter, but he's pressured out so hard, and Sato swings the hammer, rings him like a gong. And Babybay probably just has to die in the payload here. He's got no other choice.
Yeah, and Sinatra uses his grab, and I don't know if Babybay got the Dragon off. When he got rezzed and then the self-destruct comes down, I'm not exactly sure if he actually got the Dragon off. Oh dear, special delivery, family! So nasty. Super had an Earth Shatter too, but didn't have a chance. Sato!
I had a lot of fun with that last fight.
Freaked out for a moment there.
That was really good.
Carpe got 4 kills at the end there.
Sorry, I was just watching over that one. Let's go back and look at that last fight. The casting, as you notice, I'm purposely trying to pace myself here.
Back, Hotpa finds 2 in the back. Sleepy and Babybay are down, but the Hanzo is brought back immediately.
So I've got to mention when there's Resurrects here. I'm not reading the kill feed necessarily. Oh, well, with Resurrects I often do. I definitely read for Resurrects just so I know, because it's sometimes hard to see.
Super has an Earth Shatter, but he's pressured out so hard, and Sato...
So I mentioned that Super had the chance to do something there, but he got run over.
Swings the hammer, rings him like a gong.
Rings him like a gong is just flavor.
Babybay probably just has to die in the payload here. He's got no other choice.
Yeah, and Sinatra uses his grab, and I don't know if Babybay got the Dragon off. When he got rezzed and then the self-destruct...
Yeah, see, we couldn't tell what Babybay got with that Dragon. We have to just accept that we don't know it. This is going to go on YouTube. This will go on YouTube, yeah. Brendan M74, I hate listening to my own voice. I just had to get over it. Yeah.
Comes down. I'm not exactly sure if he actually got the Dragon off.
Oh dear, special delivery, family. That's so nasty. Super had an Earth Shatter too, but didn't have a chance. Sato, I think you almost freaked out for a moment there. By the way, Carpe got 4 kills at the end there.
Hi, Senpai Spoonial. Why did I pick it? I guess I didn't really pick it. I kind of fell into it. You know, it kind of just happened, if that makes sense.
The launch code, so to speak, he lays down that big shatter.
Just as we were talking about how there aren't any big shatters anymore, Sato hits one.
And yes, you can have good stats on a bad team. And yes, I agree that there are players with good stats on teams that overall are not good. But there are, it's nuanced. People just need to take a nuanced approach to these conversations, and I don't see much of that on the internet.
11 seconds.
Don't have an argument about Geggery in my chat, because you're wasting your time. You're wasting your time, bro.
Yeah, these are two of the most fun teams to watch play. Like, they just play like a fun, like...
Baby, that jawline! God damn!
I really see a lot of, like...
Take some risks.
I think Otto's sick.
Come out with these players. Like, yeah, they take risks, right? Like,
a lot of people also style themselves.
Bad stats on bad team doesn't mean bad player. I mean, fine. That is fine. It is possible to have bad stats on a bad team and not be a bad player, but the evidence for you not being a bad player is a little sparse. It's a little sparse. You have to go deeper, you know? You have to ask yourself what makes a good player. And you notice the conversation, I didn't say that Geggery was a bad player. I just said that it's very important not to consider her to be that good, because I don't think she's top 5 diva in the league. And I think that's reasonable. Fisher is definitely the most handsome.
yeah.
Both these rosters.
I mean, you can tell when the Shock
Fisher's very handsome.
Situation, and they just have like one tank alive, and Sinatra's like, oh, this is winnable, let's do it. Like it's kind of cool. See two teams just kind of play like this. All right, this is they're going to use this competition.
There is no way for league engagement to grow at this point, feels bad, man. I have no idea how that's substantiated.
Yeah, only the one shield tank this time.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they're not playing with a Reinhardt additionally.
They're going to force...
So we mentioned that Philly switched back, right? They're playing now a bit more of a normal comp.
Super Sato, yeah. Only 9 players getting stunned by them. Very effective. But hey, when you get them so often, you can use them more frivolously, right? The Shocker moved on to the point already, Matt. Shokyovin going fairly deep and being de-suited. Baby Bay realizing now he doesn't want to be there without his diva. The whole point.
Hey, Corey, I'm feeling better, thanks, man.
So back to the point. And now they're getting ground down a little bit. Or a lot.
Yeah. They're trying to escape. Baby Bay will fall.
So there's not much to say there. It's just a fight without ultimates that just got ground down. Viewer counts continue to drop. It's natural for viewer counts to drop over the course of over like a long league. Our peaks are actually still fine. So. It's the same shitty recycled argument I see all the time.
Now trying to save things with a big Riptide. Oh, he got 2! That's so nasty!
That's just what you need.
Diffusion now rubbing their hands together greedily. They're definitely in the driver's seat. The Shock now on their last legs. Supercharger committed to the fight just to make sure they got the damage to push them over the line. Nice hook there from Sinatra, but he'll be paying for it with his life. The Philadelphia Fusion will hold the point.
And I wonder, so Moth, yeah, I know. Moth flies towards the hotel to Baby Bay there when the Riptire is coming out.
Yeah, bench prop. That's why I said she still belongs. I think she still belongs to the Overwatch League. I just don't think she's a top diva. I don't think she's the top 5 diva.
And EQO just got it off at the right time, because there's no way you would opt to fly into the hotel to a teammate and get both of you killed rather than get one of you killed. So.
I'm sure there'll be some choice words shared about that one. Let's actually see how that went down.
Let's take a look.
Might give us a little bit more information on that one. So, Baby Bay, at what point does he turn and sort of, no, he doesn't have scatter on cooldown. That's the problem.
Okay. I will be amazed if it can retain 100k for matches worth watching a year. Bro, no one cares. No one cares. No one cares what you think about our fucking viewership. No one cares.
Doesn't have it.
So maybe he's just trying to hit it.
Yeah, he is. He's trying to hit it, right?
He tried to fade it in. Yep.
Hit it once. Not enough. Okay, so the idea was there. Moth's like, yo, bros, leave me.
Shoot the tire, shoot the tire.
Right, so in typical Shock fashion, now, and I say this with the warmest of hearts.
They do get a decent percentage.
Yeah, but again, with the warmest of hearts, Baby Bay.
No, I'm not going to punch too easy. people get baited by too easy way too easily. Hence his name.
Baby Bay definitely being picked out of the mix here, Matt. A lot of deaths for him on the side of the Fusion.
Thanks for the biddies.
But Hot Bar with 3 deaths, Boombox 3.
Thanks, that guy who cooks drive ammunition. Wow, should just pimp myself out as a shit singer.
We do in the Fraggy era.
look, we said we wanted to see Boombox play better. Definitely has on the flex support so far, as Carpe will play Hanzo here. Neptuno was playing Lucio, trying to speed boost everybody in. He dies right off the bat, so...
Thanks, Captain James King.
Do you go in and take damage? Because if you go in and take damage, then Boombox probably going to lose all of his healing resources, right? You don't want to waste it now. You want to waste it in a fight that you probably can win.
No, your only healing resources for Neptuno are sort of very conditional.
We see that, Carpe just getting picked off. So Carpe playing the Hanzo now. So this is what I was talking about earlier on. Philly are like reverting back, in my opinion, to their older style, their prior style of playing this one. So Carpe was just here, right? Boombox is also with him, which I find quite interesting. So you sort of bustle your way through. You have that Roadhog. You try and you want to pressure through this. Carpe wants to come up behind Baby Bay, but Choihyobin probably knows this. Oh, they've probably watched enough of Philly to know that this is something that they do. So you can tweet my singing. It's not good singing, but you can tweet it. So Choihyobin responds really well to this. This is what happens when you get tape on a team. So I don't know what the star is. What are people typing that I can't see? Is Moobot being like a dictator? Anyway, am I married? I'm not married. I already asked Matt when we're getting married, Corey, on broadcast, and he said never. So. Casters coming for season 3? Oh no, we'll have more casters coming. I'm certain of it.
Carpe taken down there. I love this adaptation by Choihyobin. I think they're in trouble. Hotbar doesn't have the defense matrix to help Neptuno get out.
Auto mod? Oh, is it Diva or? I'm so confused. It's like, it's blocking all links, right? But super dumb.
Easily with Boombox, so they both have to use their
Matt is engaged,
respective mobility abilities. Normally, Carpe on this map just flanks the high ground and kills the Widowmaker with a...
No, I think they're actually trying to post a link. Sorry, I'll permit you after Shadow missed it.
I love that.
He's done that route so many
I wish I had a mod in here. We should have one.
Through the hotel to the underpass to the high ground where you see Baby Bay is set now.
Muscle onto the point. Oh, shit.
Neptuno and Sato missing, and Hotbar to be desuited here. It seems that neither team are really able to get too much on the point, and the shot got a little bit more back.
I think Bren will cast if he finds the right partner. I think he should. Do I have a mod? Can mods permit? Oh, fam, this is so confusing. Oh, Pesto's in here. Hold on. Give me a sec. There we go.
52.2% Francisco. They're going to be very pleased about that one. And there you have it. San Francisco take King's Row on virtue, man, of having a slightly better attack on the second run through the map.
That map was a slug.
That was a sick map.
Teams just dueling it out. A lot of deaths from both sides, but a fun one at that. The Shock come out on top. A big tire from...
Ah, look all orange now because of the screen. Cool map. That was a really good map. I think we will skip to the Lijiang map. Maybe we just like do another map. But the Lijiang map was, I think, one of my favorite ones. I need to use a lavatory. So bear with me. I will be back in just a moment. Shouldn't I know I look like I have a mad tan. I look like a Jersey Shore bro. You know what I mean? I'm working out, bro, with the guns, with the tan. So much orange here. I look like Matt. Oh, I'll be back in a sec. What's up? Boom, boom, boom. BRB. All right. We're ready. I get some questions, guys. Thanks for asking questions in general. I will do an AMA after this as well, so we can go back and Look at that. Yeah, I modded you, Shadow Misstep. I'm pretty sure I remember you because we had a photo together at the arena. Feel free to wield the ban hammer with great justice and stuff like that. And ban Matt. Actually, you know, I'll take this opportunity now to thank some followers. All right, we've had 157 followers today, so I'm gonna have to do it in blocks. Thanks Stein, Martin from Berlin, Blitzstrike 441, Beast question mark, Jameson AB, Ned Doge, the guy who cooks. Thank you for the cheer. I saw that. Wonder Mike 482, Snakes, Short Nerd, Razi 2011, Yo Mr. Knight, SMB, Mugai, Atari Whopper, Lucky Jake, K Corey 97A, Harper, Accountable, Slim Jim 0416, Tank Sloth 11, Garrus Vicarian 2, Mr. Bacon Sizzle, X Silly Salmon, X Coman 66, Freemason 47, Ethermead, Kara XP, Gizmo 181, Pironius, Sumort, I am Nakori, Halcyon 08, Saver 922, Sisseth, Valorin, I'm the Homeless V, Almighty was taken, Clive Warren, Servi, Essence of Design, Seacow Hunter, Pranitz, Amion, Resolus, Jack Ludman, Rousfer, Resolus, Tom Star 9, Neighborhood Witch, Grant Wishes, I'm Rusty Craze, Benny Meggy, Frisk, Ben Bolit. Alright, we're getting through them. Alright, I'll try and get some more of those. But yo, thanks for them big followers. Appreciate it. Here comes the mispronunciation of my name. Bruh. I'm only human. I'm only human. All right. Oh, let's skip to Lijiang Tower, yeah? Yeah. I mean, Horizon is...
Caught in the graviton as well.
Horizon is Horizon.
Game with a draw before half-time. I think Sideshow pointed out on the desk, the Shock going to need to win one of the next 2 maps.
Yeah, it's looking likely for a Shock victory, which hurts, obviously, the playoff standings overall.
Subs, like, give me money for some reason. Followers, follow the channel. They get notifications when we go live. Thanks, Tharion.
Like the barrier at the end, right? I mean, that's like the final...
Yeah, Matt gets the comfiest close to where...
Right now, that's really all the teams that are in contention, so Philly would fall into a spot they would ideally not like to be in.
Just play a game. Play games? Let's play a game. Yeah? Alright, let's play Guess That McCree. This is one we're bringing back from last week. McCree A and McCree B. Let's have a look at these stats. Now, this is between these 2 teams. So one is a Shock one is a Philadelphia Fusion McCree. Can you guess which one is Carpe?
I'm gonna go B is Baby Bay and A is Carpe.
Alright. So B is Baby Bay. Oh, no.
No.
There you go.
Yeah.
So pretty close there, obviously, statistically. Now, the reason why we bring this up, this is relevant. Because Baby Bay...
I love this segment. I'm really glad that we got to get something out of this.
Right. And he does. Yeah. Like, he just does a lot. He's out there getting the juice, right? That's what happens when you play aggressive. Carpe actually has more deaths on the McCree, and it's relevant here for a couple of reasons. Firstly,
that was important. The Desper 10
will make this comparison make a whole lot more sense. We're able to control a map that we definitely do see a lot more of McCree on. You know, not entirely. Lijiang Tower, there is an opportunity for that play on Command Center, for example.
Yeah, so Baby Bay will come back in.
Yes, that is the substitution we're alluding to.
that is the substitution.
That's why we bring Baby Bay up. I just thought that was a really good way of like just showing that Baby Bay, while he has many deaths in general, like his McCree is like pretty clean, doesn't just get jumped on. And we're about to go into Lijiang Tower, so yeah, no, I called this Command Center for ages. I just recently started correctly calling Control Center, so not good. So. Clive Warren, thanks for the sub. G'day.
Where did this time come from? And even he was like, wow.
Ah, that's a good idea, Shadow Misstep. Yo, yeah. What's your question in that? What a clever idea.
Yeah, I forgot all those.
Why am I?
Well, it's because Boombox in stage 1 was like, they played the Bastion for a bit, right? He was their Bastion player, and then they started to move away from Bastion. But it's also, I know, chatting with Ben again, it's like Junkertown is actually one of the longest maps we have in Overwatch League, like in terms of like time played on the server.
Also one of the more grindy ones as well. And primarily time-wise, especially because we often see multiple playthroughs quite often get close to the maximum sort of time allotted for either team.
Overwatch gameplay?
Towards,
Diamond as fuck.
Which is why that comparison I thought might be relevant, although it might not actually be Carpe on the McCree here. We'll see if they actually come out of the gates with this. But Baby Bay's McCree, pretty spicy. Pretty spicy. Let's get it.
Very strong. Architect will come out as Pharah here at the beginning of the Pharah Mercy combo. So Carpe will play Tracer. They'll need an EQO here on McCree. Much different comps than we saw in our...
So again, we're just talking about our the picks early on here. Nothing great. Watch Babybay start shitting on people. Oh yes!
Okay. All right.
Interrupts the res.
The resurrect can't even be completed there because Neptuno just kind of poops himself.
I'm a McCree main, so I love this. This is really nice.
It's back onto the rest of his team. Oh, all right.
He's lost.
So a lot of this is reaction, but like, you know, when I'm feeling good or I'm like excited or impressed by something, I want you to know that I'm feeling like, you know, like that. I'm really loving it. So yeah, I'm digging it. Right? I'm digging this big time, and I want you to know that. So it might seem like, oh, he's just getting a bit carried away. I am getting carried away, but you know, it's because I'm loving it. And it is. This is impactful, right?
During the little break at halftime, you may have even been able to see it on the stream. Is that Babybay was on the stage for the shock. Everybody else, you know, taking the halftime break, whatnot. He was on the stage warming up, probably listening to the coaches through the headset. So
There's probably listening to Migos actually.
Or listening to some music in his headset warming up. So see him come out of the gates hot, not surprising.
I mean, he had 80% weapon accuracy after the first fight. Small sample size, yes, but he was hitting them bells. Again, chiming in with that damage. A lot of AD strafing here. And Architect, all he kind of has to do is just sort of, you know, finish off the kills, you know.
Yeah, it's worth mentioning the combo, obviously, between a Farah and McCree, like the 1-2 punch that you can get. Obviously, Farah's really good with there's someone on the ground that can usually sort of follow up on their damage. So Babybay's McCree's a great cleanup hero. So if Architect is going to be consistently hitting damage, like Babybay's in a great position to capitalize off that. Same as having Farah Tracer, like we used to have on Ilios a couple stages back when Tracer was playable at all. Yeah.
Or
just put down enough damage for, yeah, just connect with one shot. So.
And Babybay resurrected here, brought back into the fight. Again, his stats on McCree, but he dies so much less on McCree, which I find so interesting. And yeah, both those tanks are in deep trouble. The Shock are miles ahead of the Fusion already here on Lijiang Tower.
So I think what's important, we're about to see something nice. So what's important here is that nothing huge has really happened. Like we haven't seen, you know, massive team fights with ults. I think that was the first time we saw a Grav in the round. What's important here is that San Francisco won the first fight. A lot of that was because of Babybay's like able to get those picks and finish off kills. And so basically the last minute or so has been the Shock just holding the Fusion at bay and picking them off. The Fusion are probably getting frustrated here because they're not really able to get 6 players all in one spot ready to go. I mean, Babybay now is flanking. Like, this is pretty sick from McCree. It's obviously pretty dangerous to go for. So we are... Yeah, I think Neptuno using Valk here is obviously bad because Hopper and Sato were dead. Maybe that they were hoping for more from this fight, but they got Grav barraged, so obviously Valkyrie doesn't do anything. You can't res both of those people. We don't point it out, I don't think, as being a waste. We're sort of... Because we're on board with Babybay here as well, so we're going to discuss, and I'm going to cast this flank and try and highlight maybe its importance there. Looking at Boombox, does he get a transforce or does he just die? And then, you know, because this is essentially cleanup, right?
And Babybay's on a mish, a big mish, and he even deals with Boombox pretty comfortably. EQO has to think twice about challenging now. Babybay
EQO definitely is dead here.
They're afraid of him. No one wants to do with him at all.
Yeah, this is why. All right. And this is why I picked him to be the McCree with the more deaths. You see the positions he's laying from, but
don't matter if he got the aim back. All right, he's just gonna chill out for a second. Carpe hasn't really been able to pressure him too much. Now he's mad. He's well mad. Gets in and deals with Babybay. Also managed to kill Architect on his own. So Carpe sets up the fight win there. EQO finishes it off with the Deadeye. And the
so Philly obviously used a Deadeye Graviton there. This is a totally acceptable way to come back to the fight. So the storyline, if you want to sort of look at this from a storyline perspective, it was definitely about Babybay at the start of this match. He was in control of the point. We're reacting. You know, I'm reacting in a real way. Like this is, I'm genuinely enjoying this. Nothing is faked here. I'm not trying to overhype anything. It's just like when you see those individuals sort of make these big plays in Overwatch, and yeah, often they are DPS players, but there are exceptions to this rule. And I remember like sometimes watching Geggery, and she was just like killing 3 people, and I was like, oh, this is so sick. You know, you're getting a visceral reaction. We're really trying to get some personality there.
Pick on Super. Okay, Philly, I see you out there. I see you.
Oh, what the hell?
Playing so
No one's to do with him at all.
yeah,
Oh, I can skip ahead. Okay. It turns out I can use the arrow
He's
keys.
just gonna chill out for a second. Carpe hasn't really been able to pressure him too much. Now he's mad. He's well mad. Gets in, deals with Baby Bay. Also managed to kill Architect on his own. So Carpe sets up the fight win there. EQO finishes.
What do I think about lore conversations with the cast? No, it's fine.
Philly, I see you out
Like,
there.
I mean, maybe there's something better you could talk about, but if there isn't, fuck it, talk about whatever you want. The stuff that me and Matt talk about sometimes is ridiculous. Like Hex and Semler go out on tangents. Like, it really that depends on taste.
A little bit too energetic there. Push it a little bit too far. Let Philly take advantage.
Well, we do know that the shock like to pop off a little bit. Chasing Glory. Baby Bay down to Carpe. And a pulse bomb here delivered by Carpe to no avail in the back line, and Baby Bay's back in the fight. You see Sado. He's taking a lot of damage and a very low shield, so we can't afford to be super aggressive for the time being.
Right now, I mean, nothing's happening, right? Nothing of substance is happening. Like, Baby Bay just got rezzed right in front of a Reinhardt. And so he obviously died instantly. Yeah, you could swear. This channel is suitable for mature audiences. It should go without saying, given that I'm Australian. There's not a lot happening here, guys. And this is what Lijiang Tower Control Center often produces, is situations where the teams are just going to poke down and try and build up their ultimates. I mean, that fight obviously didn't go well. Maybe we wait for grabs here and see what happens. Yeah, Mad Cunts only in his channel.
Another removal of Baby Bay here, and the Fusion are starting to stabilize, Matt. They've not been forced to use these ultimates. They've got 2 support ones ready to go.
And Carpe's been able to get to the back line and just caused a ton of problems. So this doesn't seem like Baby Bay's really putting a large focus on taking him out. This will be a Deadeye from Baby Bay. Just gonna buy space, yeah.
I mean, the shock hate playing in that corridor. It really sucks for them.
Yeah, I point that out. Like, you play around here, you're obviously highly subject to poke damage inside that choke. Not fun. So, I mean, yeah. I don't think there's been a lot really covered in this last bit of the fight, to be honest.
They can move forward and play on the point. That's what they want to be able to flank around.
So, I mentioned that very quickly. They want to try and play on the point and fight on the point.
Here we go. Graviton comes in. Transcendence response might not be enough. Here comes the Barrage. He gets himself 2 off. Already coming down.
That's pretty fast, isn't it? I mean, maybe you don't follow that. For me at the time, as I'm saying it, Misstep, that's fine. Like, you don't have to pretty it up. I can work with just a dock. That's all good. Thank you. Yeah, 2 Ubers would be like matter and antimatter.
That's what you're looking for the shock. Just try and overload the damage, and eventually the Fusion crumble, and now they'll be chasing for the rest. Boombox had better days than Architect with the classic fade away. And there it is. Howdy to you too, my good sir. How goes it?
Will there be a watch point recaps previews during the playoffs? I actually don't know yet. I think there will be some. I hope there'll be something. I know it's not locked in yet. I'm pretty sure we're gonna do some kind of supplementary content though.
He's a stalk right now.
He's a stalk? Oh my god.
Causes a lot of destruction.
Why did I say that?
So you're gonna have a pulse bomb. You do have Super here with a Earth Shatter. Hotfoot with the grab. What do you have to combo with this? You're gonna have a pulse bomb soon as Carpe just lurking up.
Carpe
Yeah, the
has
pulse
a
bomb grab.
He's the stalk right now. And the bomb is his baby. It's a big baby. Causes a lot of destruction. Hard to clean up after. There it is. The stick goes in, gets nothing with it though. In fact, the shock. Look.
So what I'm glad I did there was not get too excited about the pulse bomb until the kill is there, right? So
Really
it's important.
Sado goes down. Trick open. Combining with Architect and pressure down. This guy just hits everything. It's unbelievable. William Tell's out there, except he's looking for the head, not the apples. He eats them afterwards. Gets them gains.
What the fuck?
No one happier than Tyler, of course. So
I don't know what any of that means.
Alright.
What the fuck? Angel Darkchild, thank you for the sub. Little bit dark, yeah. What the? See, this is what I mean, right, about not having a filter, is that you end up doing this sort of shit. I mean, the reference is mad random, right? Obviously, it doesn't make any sense. I guess an idea comes to you and you sort of just work with it, and then you try and, you try and sort of get it to fit in some way. So there you go. He's out there like William Tell, except he's not looking for the apples. Yeah, whatever. That was okay.
Super fan, I don't argue with him at this point.
So, did I say it too fast?
Pressure down. This guy just hits everything. It's unbelievable. William Tell's out there, except he's looking for the head, not the apples. He eats them afterwards. Gets them gains. San Francisco.
Jeez. I think I'm laughing at Tyler out there. Yeah.
Then Tyler, of course. Self-professed shock super fan. I don't argue with him at this point.
The random shit, you like that? That's good. Is there any extra hype sneaking into casting with casting players like Baby Bay? Yeah, well, no, it's not because Baby Bay's my boy, but it's more the extra hype creeps in when I know that like they're just about to fucking pop off, you know. I mean, I cast my friends in every team, almost every team. Like I have friends, or people that I really like, you know. So yeah, except William Tell didn't even hit the apple. Yeah, that's right.
It's definitely true. Let's go back and see the last moments of that round, Matt, before we break this one open.
So I think a card-based pulse bomb actually lands onto Choyobin in the grab, gets him charged up. So you see he's sitting at 99% after the grab. Use the shield, flex all that damage.
Oh my.
There is nothing more fun in Overwatch, I believe, than being a fully charged.
That's nice to get a shot with Choyobin. See some of him just popping up. Considering that we saw him play so much Diva and not much Zarya.
I feel like
what a beast.
Zarya is in first right now. We'll see how it holds up to the new sim.
The only thing better than that is being a fully charged Zarya still with your barrier on cooldown.
Architect actually does a really nice job in that first round. Obviously, we highlighted Baby Bay a lot, able to make some flashy plays, hit a lot of nice shots. But Architect has 33% of their overall damage, so a lot of those kills.
So the that stat screen we have allows us also to not miss things. So Matt's right. We spent a lot of time talking about what Baby Bay was doing because it is flashy, right? McCree is flashy, it's like Widow. But Architect doing that consistent damage is what netted him like a third of his whole team's damage, which is a lot. Normally, average for DPS is about 22%. 22% to 25% for DPS is his average. Anything a 30 and above is like, that's a lot. That's just something you don't know unless you're used to reading the stats and sort of seeing the percentage of damage.
That Baby Bay is able to pick up. It's Architect laying down a lot of that damage.
Sure, Super gets overwhelmed there a little bit in the front line. Getting that Juno was just huge for the Shock, and they can still win this fight now in a 4v4.
So you see that one? I said like I'm not sure what's going on here, or how this is going to go. I don't think it's important. It's nearly as important for me to seem like I know everything. I think there are other casters that do that who want to sort of deliver in such a way that they're like, oh no, this is the truth and this is what I believe to be the case. And so you hear like my casting and sort of Matt's, we do have a lot of speculation in there. I think that's a built-in way of giving the players the benefit of the doubt, but also acknowledging that some stuff is not so clear-cut to us. And hopefully, you know, because we don't want to try and like put ourselves on a pedestal. No, I was sick, Ajive. We don't want to put ourselves on a pedestal above the viewer. That's not the point. It's not about us. So we want to be honest. We want to be honest if we're not certain about something. That's why you do hear us say, I think sometimes. And people say, oh, you should know. It's like, well, maybe. But, like, I actually get this all the time. Like people are like, you should know who's going to win the fight or how this should go. And I think maybe to a degree I do. But I'm not really willing to pretend like I am some sort of all-knowing thing. Some people might prefer to a caster like Monty, who maybe is far less speculative and will only talk about things that he sort of feels that he's sort of sure about, and I think that's also fine. But was Carpe's 4K on this map one of your favourite moments? Yeah, it's definitely one of my favourite moments.
Choyobin waiting for his shield. Architect is there. Beautiful recovery, and Hopper, he might be looking good right now, but he's about to get his face lasered off. He does. And that was EQO just popping in briefly before realizing that he had no teammates left.
And Sleepy made a big play there. He's actually caught in the middle with Moth as Carpe is trying to flank around.
Yeah, exactly, Smex. I think like this game allows for like clutch like individuals just to go nuts. And it happens all the time because of just like the level of ability in this league. And I think you're doing the players a disservice by like assuming that you know the answer, or like taking yourself too seriously. And you know, I don't want to do that. You know, nice to have you back as well, by the way, bro. Always a pleasure.
On the outside, pretty much decided they can't be scared of Carpe and run to the point. He's just going to snipe them in the back of the head. So with the help of Moth, Pocket, Sleepy, they take down Carpe in the mid. Sleepy wins the 1v1.
Philly, again, realize they don't want to get too far behind again in this round. Last time was so brutal for them. Sato can't really catch a break, though. Now, EQO, you're brave man to play fire against this! Now, if you're the Outlaws, you say... New
Can you tell I like McCree?
Sure. McCree doesn't really care what his title is right now.
Yeah, that was a dig at the Outlaws, obviously, for the slogan as the new sheriff in town, when obviously Outlaws are the opposite. That's a throwback. That's pretty meta, to be honest.
Sato down to Choi Hyobin, and Architect will chill with this barrage.
He's getting a dead-eye, it was below a minute up until this point. I mean, it was every like 58 seconds. Now it's like a little bit above a minute two, but just the damage that he's putting down on McCree. Just
some numbers talk. Talk about obviously how long it takes to gain ultimate. We use that as a metric for heroes for whom damage is the only way that they can generate that ultimate, outside of obviously the natural ticking up. Obviously healers, you know, if we talk about time taken to charge their ultimate, it's a bit complicated because their healing and damage both contribute to that. But for DPSs, Pharah, I said McCree as well, Junkrat, people that don't heal or don't gain ultimate through any other measures, like a Sombra, for example, we use it as a metric of overall performance. So as a direct comparison for DPSs, time to charge ultimate definitely has merit. Because it also, you know, it observes damage that's unmitigated, I suppose, if that makes sense. We could just compare damage as a raw number, but raw damage, obviously, if it's into shields and stuff like that, or mitigated by the things, like we want to try and go for the most efficient picture. And I don't think time to charge ult is perfect, but for a play from a hero to hero comparison, people playing the same hero, it does the job.
A lot of burst damage and Pharah putting down damage constantly. It's very difficult for the Fusion to deal with. I'm surprised they're still playing.
Corey. No, I'll streak that.
I feel like you just kind of, you know, put yourself in harm's way against this McCree.
So I asked, I'm asking Matt a question here. I said, like, what do you think about a changing comp here? Because obviously EQO is trying to play Pharah against McCree, which is, you're not directly countering yourself, but you're making. I think it's kind of hard, right? Like, you know, we've seen Baby Bay punish EQO. You have to play very differently.
Could you play a Widow Genji against this? I feel like you just kind of, you know, put yourself in harm's way against this McCree. I guess, you know, Carpe can protect EQO purely just by his own presence a lot of the time. I mean, he protect and attack, I suppose.
That's why you play the Widow.
Yeah, I guess Matt didn't have a great chance to answer that question. My timing wasn't great because Fusion were just making their push, so yeah.
Oh, but still, I mean, the Shock have every ultimate here coming into the next fight. And they're going to be fully stacked out.
Well, there's a Graviton here. There's two Gravitons.
Pesto, help the lady.
It becomes a little bit harder to predict because it can depend on which Pharah is not caught inside the enemy team's Graviton. So let's see what happens here. Chokobin, Baby Bay Super. All right, EQO gets his one off. Now, you don't care if you're the Shock. You do not care. You don't use ults. You're screaming at each other, don't use ults, because you can do the same thing to the Fusion and put yourself within arm's reach of winning the map.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really smart player for the Shock. One, they don't waste any ultimates. Two, they give Moth some more time to build towards Valkyrie, so it gives them even a bigger advantage coming into this next fight.
Well,
Sleepy.
So we're obviously discussing, like, from the Shock's perspective, suffering the Graviton and the barrage is like, in that moment, what are you saying? Like, what? Like, we're trying to put people in the moment a little bit, I guess, and say, don't use ultimates because we can just do that to them, right? And then obviously we're at 74%. So, you know, as the Shock, you just let that happen. You don't spend ultimates. Then you come back, you win the fight at 74 to 40, 50%. And then you can sort of hold off with the grab, with an Earth Shatter or a Trans or whatever. So that's sort of what we're discussing. Oh, Namaste with the Twitch Prime. What's up? Thanks for the sub, bro. Much appreciated and welcome.
So let's see if this will get rezzed up. It looks like it will.
Sleepy, a heavily first picked individual.
Well, what's up, fam?
On a lot of these maps. Again, because he's often playing a flank or just trying to set up to help his team from a different position. And that can make him a little bit vulnerable sometimes. Baby Bay finds Carpe, though, in the brief moment that he was up using his grappling hook, he got taken down by the Deadeye. And yeah, these two are going to be eating rockets now. EQO comes in. Sada's done work as well, so Architect and Sleepy are missing in this fight, but now there's no main tank for the Philadelphia Fusion, and Shoikoben, while not charged, has a lot of health, and that's a real resource for the Shock right now. Lasers Neptuno down. Carpe now has a sit away.
Again, we're not getting too excited. Game's not over yet. Shock still, you know, Shock are in a good spot. They had the shatter, but both teams have the Transcendence.
They have to have Baby Bay come back here and try and help.
By the way, this position here is Carpe plays this a lot where they have control of the point. This is where he started that epic comeback against the Boston Uprising. Red pubes of Scumpy. COD fan, I see. I obviously don't speak Russian, mate, so I don't know why you would type in Russian, but thanks for interacting. Great name, though.
Help him out.
Remember last time Carpe were playing from here?
Sleepy actually may try and fight this one-on-one against Carpe.
I want him to.
I want Sleepy to push Carpe.
Oh, no,
like, Sleepy's been zoned off from his team. He's forced to use Transcendence here. Sleepy is a player, in my opinion, very talented, really wants to be a playmaker. He strikes me as someone who really wants to be a Jonarch. So I think, like, right here, I think what happened is he got separated from the rest of the Shock. He's over here, right? I think he got caught off from his team. Yeah, see, the Shock are obviously in control of the point, and Sleepy is here. Now, why is he here? He'd probably try to create a pick. He's probably coming in here and realizes the Carpe's watching this angle, so maybe he tries to push around this way.
Baby Bay come back here and try and help him out.
Remember last time Carpe were playing from here?
Yeah, so Sleepy wants to push Carpe and try and kill him. I understand this, but he commits. So instead of backing away after taking this one, he sort of hangs around. See, if he goes over to the right and back out, I mean, he's still kind of caught out from the rest of his team. So, because if he tries to cross the same way Baby Bay does, he's still susceptible. Maybe he was expecting to kill Carpe or hoping that he killed him sort of straight up.
I want him to. I mean, you may as well. If you're being prevented from joining your team by... Oh, no, he's going to get...
See, and then he gets picked off because the Fusion push him, because they realize we have a player out of position now, and this is a disaster for the Shock. Now, they're at 96%, right? But they use their Transcendence here, and they're not going to get any value out of this one. I'm not shitting on Sleepy, by the way, because I think I understand why he did this.
2v1.
But I am expressing my displeasure at seeing this on stream. I do not want to see players like he's got to run through the whole of the Fusion with the Transcendence. Unfortunate. He got caught out. He was trying to get rid of Carpe. If he gets rid of Carpe, the Shock just straight up win the round.
Yeah. Transcendence to the point. It's not a terrible move, really, man, is it? At least he gets back to his team. They don't have that key ultimate, though. Now,
they lost Baby Bay.
Super.
First.
Shatter. Big ultimate. If he can knock Sato out of the way or in a position where he can't protect his team properly, a Shatter could be just the ticket here. Definitely mind games.
Yeah, no, I definitely don't vote Sleepy MVP, but I think he's a good player.
Super and Sato are down. That's a huge move there, and perhaps.
So Super, I mean, a lot of people have said that this is kind of where it starts. This is where it goes wrong. The charge out for Super. I mean, you're down a player already. Look, I think the Shock are like, well, we might lose this point. I think if you're the Shock, you're like, don't use ults, let's just get ults, right? But they just use that Transcendence. So things are looking a bit dicey. So Super getting healed up.
Some subliminal messaging coming between those two.
As I talk about, like, the very briefly in that moment, I'm talking, yeah, that's what I say. Like, Sleepy was committed to that one-on-one against Carpe. Maybe you just don't do it in general, but there's a reason, right? Yeah, Super has Shatter, but he probably already acknowledges this is a losing fight because Architect's dead, so they've lost 2. Both DPSs are down. And there is a case to be made for Sleepy's trance being the start of this. Either way, it doesn't go well. So Super gets the charge. He gets the kill. He was going to get the kill anyway, right? But now there's 3 players. The Shock have to get off the point, and they can get staggered out pretty badly here.
Oh, Super! Okay. Trades out. Both Super and Sato are down. That's a huge move there, and perhaps not the right one for the Shock at this juncture.
See, again, even if I disagree with it, it's perhaps not the right move. Like, I try and avoid sort of being absolute-ish about it. How is the MVP voting going? Did the West match China a little bit more? I doubt it. But like I said, that's why the talent and that's why team coaches are going to have a say in the voting. Because, and by a say, I mean a good deal of the say.
You would have loved to have the Transcendence so Super could have stood tall on the point. Fought it aggressively. Carpe now with the infrastructure.
Yeah, see, if you look at Sleepy, if you look at Super in that case and going, he probably jumps off the map anyway here, then getting a kill on Sato is fine. It's fine.
This Philadelphia is going to creep up above 75% here.
Because you actually get something.
You don't have a diva as the shock, so you can't.
Oh man, they lose Architect early. Carpe's.
So I guess he's trying to make the
He's activating.
Situation going for that one-on-one, but the give him a one-on-one, no way.
You may not have a res here for the rest of the game if you are the San Francisco Shock, so you have to play this smart. Philadelphia looking ever so better.
He is flanking so wide right now. He's trusting his team, to be honest.
Now here it is. Graviton surge.
2 for 1. Sleepy down.
One kill, so they trade this one out. Oh, that's massive. Sato and Hopper go down to
Carpe just appears.
It's Neptuno, EQO and Carpe. It is a proper 3v3 right now. Carpe trying to get around the backside and find...
That shot from Carpe was huge.
The first to fall. It looks like the shock in their 3
It was only a body shot, but still.
His timing is perfect. He needs to try and keep Super alive, but EQO can just peer over the barrier and get the shots in. Neptuno is missing. No mercy available now for the Philadelphia Fusion this time. Carpe just going massive. Removing Chokobin. Sleepy comes in though. Good response. That's revenge for the kill earlier on. But the players need to get here onto the point. Moth and Baby Bay both push in. The Tracer just gets gunned down. Boombox now returns on the Soldier 76. Moth removed. Sleepy gets yet another one here. There is a chance for the shock. It's a slim one, but it's there. There's a barrage fairly close now. An Architect looking to try and find the 76.
Oh, Boombox! Oh! What a god! That was sick for Boombox, man. Oh, he gets Super as well.
So close to taking this one back, but now Carpe's here on the Doomfist.
Let's fucking go! It's sick! Oh, man!
Neptuno keeps this series alive.
Oh!
Sleepy's on the outside of the point, picking up some kills. 90%.
Wow! Sick fight. Casting wise, I think it was alright. I mean, there are other things that I could have said or different ways I could have said that, but I'm pretty happy with that fight, obviously. That play from Boombox, maybe it would have been nice to like give Boombox a little bit more love for that play. Because remember, earlier this series, we said he was an average player on the Zenyatta. His stats were average, right? But winning the 1v1 against Architect there and then killing Super, like, huge. Huge. That was awesome fight. I love that. Oh man, Overwatch is so good. Yeah, so maybe I could have identified that a bit more. The proper 3v3 comment value can't be overstated. It provides a viewer the ability to reset awesome cast. Yeah, Pastor Dactyl, I thought it was really important to try and reestablish a little bit more and sort of say like, hey, I do try and call out, you know, when I see kills, I try and say it's a 5v4, it's a 3v3. There's no other way of doing that than counting the kills in the fight, but I saw the minimap. I actually looked at the minimap there and made sure that I was correct in the 3v3. Carpe getting the instant kill on Moth is big though. Carpe and Boombox, oh, so sick. AMA in half an hour? I would say it'll be about half an hour, yeah. I'm just probably going to do the end of this map because I've been doing a review for a couple of hours. And honestly, if I cut a review video and put it on YouTube, I don't want it to be more than 2 hours. Like, they're already so fucking long as it is.
So Lucio just darts on in, takes him out right outside the point. Also, Neptuno,
fuck, man.
Neptuno playing
so
Mercy
sick
as well. We take a replay look here from Neptuno. So, playing the Mercy as well. How many teams, when their main tank is dead on the point, opt to res one of their DPS players in this type of situation? You'd see
Neptuno just dicking him down, my boy.
Sleepy got 2 massive kills in that last fight.
They opt to pocket Carpe and res EQO instead of bringing.
What's Neptuno fit on DPS? I remember that team. That was amazing.
When Carpe plays this map, we get a fish flight.
Oh man, the throwbacks.
Observer's having a bit of fun.
That was his qualifier team, wasn't it? For Takeover?
Right now,
I remember.
He has 16 final blows. The next highest in the lobby, actually Architect, one behind him. Now at 16. Behind those 2 players, the next highest only has 12.
So poggers, man. Do this more often. I try to get Matt involved. Monty and Doe aren't really interested in doing it, I don't think. Matt is 50-50 on it. It's tough to get 2 people involved. Like, if I had to have him here in person, I could do it, but it'd be a bit tough.
I think Carpe's
he's not like Matt's willing. He's interested, but I think he wants to try and make it. He wants to try and make it more high production value if we do it. I think past the Dactyl, I think that's true. I think I have tried to balance out a bit more.
Philadelphia Fusion.
Sometimes, some days are like a bit more intense. He does live below me, yeah.
When he has bad games, you definitely see it with the way that Philadelphia plays.
They look
right?
very quiet.
Yeah.
All right. Now, Baby Bay knows he's endangered, but he finds EQO. That's a pick I don't think is resable as well, considering how far out it is and how dangerous it would be for Neptune.
A black leather couch.
Carpe now being he's unbelievable. Just turns around 180, bangerang straight to the face, and he just finds Super now.
What do you even do?
Well, you don't.
You
just don't.
You just don't.
There is no do. There is just don't. I mean, Carpe clearly is just absolutely taking it to the next level. Right?
I mean, moments like this, this is rare. Like, not rare from Carpe, but it's important to take the time to point out that this is like a transcendent performance based on what you normally would see in the Overwatch League. And he has a lot of Carpe camera here, which I love. And so I want to say, like, in these situations, like, you probably feel powerless. Like, what can you do to counter this? Like, especially if there's a Widowmaker that's dominating. Isn't Carpe the best counter Widow? I don't think he actually is the best counter Widow. The thing about Carpe is that his brilliance comes at very defined moments, and I don't think is all that well distributed sometimes. Yeah, that exchange, I'm really just trying to highlight the futility of trying to stop him when he's playing like this. Peak Carpe versus peak Sabiolby, who's more clutch? I think peak Carpe is more clutch, but I think like everyday Sabiolby is more consistent, if that makes sense, or stronger. Saya might be the best Widow v Widow player. I think he actually he gave Carpe a lot of problems. Carpe a lot of problems.
Right now, and there doesn't seem to be anyone on the shock that can stop this man.
This is like a playoff, stage 3 Carpe, right? Where he was just kind of...
I can agree with that, Calder. Maybe he's not super
right now,
like Widow v Widow focused.
And they're going to have to play out a map in a lost series. Sleepy!
He has 21 final blows with 6 deaths. Right now, scoped accuracy is at
quickest trades ever.
With an 18% crit accuracy. That's unreal.
EQO trying to emulate his teammates. Sort of reaches at glory there, and that barrage was pretty underwhelming.
He's going to challenge this as well.
Why not? Here's Infrasight as well. Information is there. Baby Bay does not, but knows exactly where Carpe's peeking from. I think at this stage, yeah, you see the Winston come for you. You know you can't do much here, but EQO's found Architect on the point, so if Carpe can stay alive here, if he can, which is so far so good, he's being pocketed by Neptuno, you get a lot done here. Neptuno cleverly sits on the health pack, waits for the respawn, and they've actually kept Super so busy right now. The boombox can get onto the walls.
I mean, EQO has done so much work here. Like, EQO and Sato, we don't get to see it because we see Carpe getting pocketed. I think the observers choose the time to switch over there quite well. We see Carpe getting pocketed by Neptuno, but in the meantime, EQO is getting a lot of frags on the point. I think Sato's playing around it really well. The fact that the Shock haven't sort of taken control of the point, despite the fact that they are in a local man advantage, player advantage. What I mean is that they, in the vicinity of this point here, they have more players available than the Fusion do, and they're not able to win the fight. That's pretty big when they can sort of hang on in a 4v5, the Fusion, for so long. And you can see now they're getting shoved off because the rest of the team are returning with Moth and Super being down.
And the Philadelphia Fusion have the numbers to come back in with. Baby Bay finds Boombox, that's 1. He needs more than that. Chokyobin, a valiant attempt to stay on the point right now, but he's been shoved off. Baby Bay got Neptuno, though the mercy is missing for the Philadelphia Fusion, but the effort here for the Philly plays in the dying moments is going to carry them across the line. There's definitely a feeling of that. Architect is down, it's just Super on the point, and that's it. He is removed, and the Philly Fusion stay in the series. And like it was meant to be.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. I'll just take care of my Skype on Do Not Disturb.
It all ends in map 4.
34 limbs,
okay.
21 final blows for Carpe. Pushes Philadelphia
there we go.
Over the line in map number 3.
I was pretty light on